teammates as they will head for the coin flip with Collins captains. Big night. It's a biggest crowd by far of the season as Scott County takes the field. We had a Hall of Fame induction up at Elkhorn Crossing with a bunch of great female athletes. We'll talk about that at halftime as some of the GOATs of Scott County recent history were inducted into the Athletics Hall of Fame. First induction ceremony since pre-COVID, so it was a good time had by all, and a lot of those people and their families will be filtering down here. And when I walked out of that building about 7 o'clock, not a lot of parking space to be had out here out front.
Now, homecoming as well. Like you mentioned, Hall of Fame. And it's a Friday night in Scott County.
And a gorgeous Friday night,
right.
I might add, as the sun is beginning to set behind the horizon.
So when you add those three up, it's a beautiful night for Scott County fans to come out and enjoy some great football.
Scott County, as we mentioned, they've had a run where they went on the road. Big one-sided win down at Lincoln County. Might not be the best they've played in the history of the McKee era, but they got the job done.
A win's a win.
54-20, I believe, and a similar score in the Madison Central game. Actually, it's 48-7.
Yeah, isn't that kind of bad when we're complaining
criticizing
over a 34-point win?
I mean, last week the only thing you could really grouse about was 15 penalties, and if you didn't look at the story or the stats from that game, Scott County had a sequence in that game where it was first down and 50 or first down and 48 or something of that nature.
It was.
And Timmy Yamongo scored on that play.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed the last couple of weeks, Cal, is Scott County starting to use Timmy Yamongo and Buddy Collins more in the backfield. Well, and I kind of expected that. Coach McKee doesn't like to play those defensive guys both ways earlier in the year unless he really has to. Once it starts getting a little colder, closer to playoff time, he starts working those guys in, and they bring another spark to the offense.
This is not a spread offense, quote unquote, but they are certainly spreading the wealth. 7 different players scored the 7 touchdowns in the win at Madison Central last week, and that's just a testament to the number of weapons that Coach McKee has in his arsenal this year. You mentioned Buddy Collins, just an exciting athlete on both sides of the ball. Looking forward to seeing him get some touches. He's kind of spelled Thomas Fikert a little bit at that halfback position, but you'll see, of course, Fikert with the senior leadership that he brings. He's going to get his share of carries, along with Ellis Hughley, along with Jacob Fryman at fullback, and a cast of others. And we're excited to see all those playmakers tonight as Scott County and Collins about to get it on here at Bird's Nest Stadium. Looks like we'll be kicking from right to left. Collins will be kicking to Scott County on your TV or radio dial, as it were. Thank you for joining us. If you are joining us at newsgraphic.com, at YouTube, or on the NFHS network, happy to bring you all the Scott County home games, regular season and playoffs this year. It's Cardinal football. We're about to get it going here tonight on just a gorgeous Friday evening. The temperature is about perfect, probably in the mid-70s for kickoff. Not any wind to speak of that I can see or feel. It's definitely warm for the final, or one of the final Friday nights in September, I guess. Don't forget, next Friday night, September the 29th, will be Anderson County, and believe it or not, that's the last regular season home game for Scott County. The next to last one begins with a touchback. And Scott County will let that ball. You mentioned the Collins off the air. You mentioned the strength of the Collins kicker's leg, and we see it there as it goes through the end zone. And the Cards will take possession at the 20. First down and 10. Andrew Hickey, third-year starter, junior at quarterback. And we mentioned all those weapons around him. He likes to throw it to Eli Lilly, Isaac York, and the running backs. Right now you've got Fikert and Collins out there. See plenty of Hughley, too, as he's standing on the sideline at the moment. Fikert in motion. No, they're going to run a little wildcat with Timmy. Out of bounds, Timmy Amongo. And we mentioned early in the season that we would not be surprised if we saw Timmy, who was a middle school quarterback, kind of running that offense, seeing it in situational moments. And there's a 19-yard gain, one of those moments.
Yeah, that's just us not really paying attention. Just so used to Andrew Hickey being out there, we didn't even notice Timmy was behind center there. But
last time we saw the Wildcat to start a game, it wasn't a good
No,
situation,
no, it's
but it
not.
worked here.
And there's Buddy Collins.
It sets up Collins to the left when Amongo runs to the right. Collins will step out of bounds or get nudged out of bounds at the Collins 41. So in 2 plays, they have picked up, count them, 39 yards.
Like I just mentioned, Cal, Buddy Collins and Timmy Amongo starting to get into the offense a little bit, and Coach McKee wastes no time getting both of them involved on the first 2 plays.
They're at the 40. So call it 40 yards of offense already. Now they'll run up the middle.
Looks like Kane
Garrett. I was going to say that's not Fryman. So again, they're mixing it up in ways we haven't been able to see in a long time. There's the chop block that was so prevalent down at Madison Central last week. We see it again here at home.
Yeah, that must be an emphasis with referees.
I got to say, there's always a point of emphasis every year, and that must be it.
There is, because we've talked about it.
Last year it was false start.
Right. We've talked about it a million times. Scott County's ran the same offense for 27 years, and I've never seen a chop block called this much, and that's probably the 4th or 5th time in the last 2 weeks.
And they'll mark it back 10 yards, so it'll be 1st and 20. And those negative down and distance situations, as we talk about a lot here on the air, are not what Scott County wants. Hickey under center, conventional offense now. He will fake to the fullback, give it to the wide man, which is Fikert. He's got all kinds of room. 1st down and more, pushed out of bounds just shy of the 20. A sweep to the right. So we've had a keeper to the right from Mamongo, a sweep to the left from Collins, and now Fikert coming back this direction picks up 27 to the Collins 23, 1st down.
That was a great job by Christian Rodriguez on the lead block out there.
Rodriguez, the one experienced lineman coming into this season, but those guys have gotten a baptism by fire and have performed well. There's Kane Garrett plunging up the middle for a gain of 3, maybe 4. They'll mark it at the 19. It'll be 2nd and 7. Do we see Fryman down there, number 39? Sideline anywhere?
I don't see him as of now, but
they have been juggling the lineup with the backs all season, so it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary to see Garrett. Seen plenty of him, and he's performed well every time he's gotten in the game. Here he is again across the 15 to the 14. It'll be 3rd and short. And all these plays running out of bounds. Scott County has barely run 1 minute and 15 seconds off the clock, and they are in the red zone. Who says this isn't a quick strike offense?
I do see him, Cal. He's around the 20-yard line right behind Coach McKee. He's in full pads, so
we'll see him
maybe just trying to get Kane some run early.
He's talking to a teammate there. I see him now.
Quarterback sneak, and it's still going.
Moving the pile close to the 5-yard line where it'll be 1st and goal. It looks like they're going to come. The line judge is going to mark it at the 7. Either way, the sticks will move. They'll drop the sticks, just move the marker to the 7. And the Cards will have 4 chances to get it in the end zone from there.
Yeah, Hickey kind of got that snap and just your typical duck quarterback sneak, and no one was there to hit him, so they just kept pushing the pile for
not used to gaining 6 or 7 yards on that play. We'd love to see that when they run it toward the end zone. Hughley going to be untouched into the blue end zone here at Bird's Nest Stadium, headed toward the left pylon, and nobody knew he had the ball except for us.
I'm glad you called it the blue end zone.
You caught that, didn't you? The blue team is down at Madison Central tonight. We'll get their score as we're able. That there's a YouTube link posted on my X account if you want to watch that one along with this or listen to it or whatever.
That's a great first opening drive there by the
authoritative.
Cardinals. Yes, it was. They moved the ball at will and did exactly what they wanted to do.
Taysir Jabbour, he's one of the leaders in the state in terms of extra point efficiency. He's only missed 2 all season. He bangs that one through the uprights. And with 9:57 to play in the opening quarter, SC breaks out on top.
And Scott County didn't throw the ball there, Cal, but they pretty much got everybody else involved. They ran belly to the fullback, sweep both ways, used a wildcat, which we haven't seen at all this year. That's a great first opening drive.
Ellis Hughley finishes it with a 7-yard run without a Titan tackler in the same zip code. Scott County 4-1, Collins 4-1, but most importantly, they're both 0-0 in the district. So this is an important game to get a leg up. Next week, Anderson County figures to maybe be the easiest of the 4 matchups in the district, but we will see, of course. That's why they play the games. And then another 3-game road swing to end this regular season. They go to South Oldham, Woodford County, and a bye before Lexington Catholic.
That ought to be a good one. Now we got a
Kick.
flag.
We'll get all kinds of whistles going here. That
Guessing
kick is
an
not going to
offsides.
stand. Tayseer will have to tee it up and do it again, 5 yards back. I would describe it as a sparse crowd that has made the trip up I-64 from Shelbyville to catch the Titans in this game. The last time we saw Collins here was a rainy night a couple of years ago, and they were playing Great Crossing. The older Gooden quarterback, I think he was besieged by about 10 drops that night, and the Warhawks came out on top.
I guess it just amazes me, and I've taken it always for granted how well Scott County travels.
Yes,
because none of these teams even.
You and I were
close.
at Boyle County, and it was crazy how many people made that hour-long trip down there. Still on the feet, Collins returns it to the 34-yard line as a decent return to get it started for them. Quentin Wooten, number 10, on the run back, and we will see. Should be Cade Gooden under center. He's number 3. He is a freshman, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. So going to have him to kick around presumably for 4 years as he's putting up some incredible numbers as a 9th grader. He was on their varsity basketball team last year as a middle school student. I recall that.
He's got some big shoes to fill with his brother.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Originally committed to Army and then decommitted from that. No, he had an offer from Georgetown College at one point.
Great
too.
play.
Not sure where he ended up. They string that run out nicely. His 3 Cardinals are all over Antoine Delaney, senior running back.
Yeah, I believe that was Justin Stevenson that set the edge and made the tackle.
5-yard loss, the 6 yards actually where they mark it. The TFLs are a big thing for the Cards. You'll see number 10, Luke Valencia, with a lot of those. He has 5.5 on the season already, and he leads the Cardinals in the tackle category by more than a dozen overall. He lines up on the right side. Kind of a 6-man front, a little bit of an amoeba-like. Most of them are standing. Definitely selling out to the run here. Gooden will roll to his left. He'll look deep. There's a flag down.
Ooh, good catch.
Beat the coverage, and making the grab is Michael Schramm, but we'll see what the flag is all about.
I think they'll decline that. I think they're going to call pass interference on Timmy.
I think there was a little bit of holding from Timmy Amongo as a freshman quarterback exploiting the freshman defensive back there for a gain of 31. Make it 32 at the Scott County 39. So Cade Gooden proving that he throws a good ball right off the bat.
Yeah, the thing is, Timmy caught up and was in stride with the receiver. It was just a great ball and a great catch. Couldn't have placed it any better.
Put it right in the basket of his receiver, Michael Schramm. Not to be confused with Tex Schramm, I guess. Schramm is a senior. Delaney is senior. We mentioned the running back, so they do have some experience at the skill positions. Now Gooden claps his hands, doesn't get the jump from the hard count, looks over to the sideline. Seen that a lot this year in all our games. Teams trying to get the free 5 yards that way. Gooden with a lot of time to throw. Now he'll roll to his right. Has to get rid of it. Does a good job getting rid of it. He had a man there, but broken up along the sideline, incomplete.
That was a good job by Buddy Collins. He was right on his back hip, just trying to force a throw, honestly, so he can maybe step in front of it. Gooden threw it only where his receiver could catch it, and it was out of bounds. So great coverage there by Buddy, and that was great coverage in the back end.
Well, 2nd down and 10 at the Scott County 39.
As you mentioned, he had all day back there in the pocket. Scott County's probably going to need to start forcing some more pressure with as good as an athlete as Gooden is, as well as the arm we've already seen.
Gooden, again with time to throw. Now some pressure coming in from that side. Avoids it. Finds his man over the middle, wide open, past the 35. A gain of 5 before the Cardinals swarm it there. It'll be 3rd and medium yardage, but we have a flag down, so hold everything.
Because in the backfield, my guess is probably be a hold on
Yeah,
Collins.
as they kind of needed to because there was some pressure coming in from the front side.
Yep.
Is that Rodriguez playing both ways tonight? I saw 73.
I don't see him in as of now.
I thought that was him putting the pressure on Gooden there from the left edge.
Yes, you are right. He's playing left in, it looks like, and that's good. I thought they should have done that when Jasante went out.
We got a little different look from the defense tonight so far of that up front anyway. Now Gooden, they're coming
now.
at him, and there's the sack.
Jacob Blair.
Jacob Blair.
That was a great call by Coach Monty McIntyre. Brought a twisting blitz. Both ends went inside. Linebackers came back in, through inside. Gooden had nowhere to go.
And that was a sack and a half, as it's a 20-yard loss. So that's going to make it third and 30.
When you have 4 different people coming free at you, you're kind of a deer in headlights, and he just kept backing up and got hit.
Actually, you combine it with the penalty from before, and it's essentially a minus 20. They're in third and forever.
Right here, if you're Scott County, you just cannot let anything behind you. You want to let them catch it in front, that's fine, make the tackle, but you can't let anything behind you.
Gooden rolled to his right again. Scott County getting held again to get Gooden some extra time, get him some freedom here toward the Scott County sideline where he trots out of bounds just past midfield. It's still going to be 4th down and long.
Yeah, see, that's fine right there. He got some good positive yardage, but he's still nowhere close to the first down. You did a great job in coverage, and you came up and forced him out and made a tackle. Good job by Scott County's defense.
Great crossing. Madison Central scoreless with 4:36 remaining in the first quarter in that one. Collins going to punt in this one with the clock stopped at 7:19 to go in the first quarter. Scott County already up 7-0 on a touchdown run by Ellis Hughley. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton bringing you the action as Scott County making its district debut this season on homecoming.
See if they give Buddy any time to make a return here.
Coming at the punt, they get it away. Fair catch signal at the 20. So they'll start this next series where they started the last one, right at the red, white, and blue stripe.
Well, Scott County's offense, Cal, pretty much did whatever they wanted on that first drive. We're going to see if Collins can make an adjustment and see if Scott County comes out with something different.
Just about every play, Collins had no idea where the ball was going.
And that's normally what happens when a team that normally doesn't play Scott County, that's what happens on the first drive. Even you go back to the years of Scott County playing Elder and LaSalle and all the, like the first drive, they didn't know where the ball was. So we'll see if Collins can make
one of those things you have to see to believe if you're the opponent. Pushing the pile for a gain of 5. Didn't see who the fullback was. It Garrett again? Looks like it is Garrett.
It is.
You can tell Garrett's a little more slightly built than Fryman at that fullback position.
A little quicker up in that hole.
He hits it a little harder.
A little thunder and lightning, I should say.
6-yard gain makes it 2nd and 4.
Timmy and Mongo's back in at halfback, giving it to him on the sweep.
Lots of room, 30, 40, 45. Makes a man miss. Stutter step across midfield. He's gone. See ya. Timmy Amongo, 74 yards to the blue zone, 13-zip.
That's why you play the young man. He's just way too explosive to just sit over there. And he does a great job on defense, Cal, but you got to get the ball in his hands on offense, and you see why. Great job by Timmy Amongo. Let his blocks get out there, made a great cut, and then he was just gone on the sideline.
You can't teach speed.
No, you cannot.
And football instincts, which Timmy has.
Some guys are just great with the ball in their hand, and it looks like Timmy Amongo is going to be the next Scott County great.
He is a stud, and I've been hearing about him for a couple of years already before he even got here. So. Tay Sears' kick is good, 14-0 with 6:29 to go here in the first quarter, and Collins got to be wondering what hit him.
That was impressive. I mean, if you're a Scott County fan or if you're a 5A fan in general, if you're a Scott County guy, you're excited. If you're another 5A school, you're not you're pretty upset right now that you got to deal with another great Scott County back that you didn't know they had.
They're going to know him soon.
I've had the pleasure of growing up and watching a lot of great Scott County running backs and just playmakers in general, but I've never really watched a freshman do what Timmy's done the last 2 weeks, and that's very exciting to see.
51-yard touchdown run at Madison Central, a 74-yard touchdown run here against Martha Lane Collins. And the Titans are down 14-0 before they know what hit them. Tayseer kicks it deep, takes a bounce inside the 5, and that return goes nowhere. Flag coming in late. The turf monster might have got him shy of the 15.
That flag came from about
way
30 yards
over
away.
here.
Yeah,
might even be a sideline warning situation.
I would say that's probably it.
Because he was standing right next to the Scott County sideline.
Either that or maybe he saw a block in the back from a distance.
There's a heck of a distance.
Yeah, it definitely was. They're talking about it, though. Normally, if it's a sideline warning, they just go ahead and say it.
And he's at field level. He's got better eyes than I do from up here.
Yeah, blocking the back.
We're going to march it back even farther. So half the distance from there will be the 7, and Collins is already in a heap of trouble.
He must have some pretty good eyes because, like we just said, he called that from about 30, 40 yards
I'm
away.
telling you, he was standing at midfield.
Yes, he was.
And the play ended at the 14-yard line.
But we're not going to complain about it.
No, it worked out nicely for the Cards. They have Cade Gooden standing at his own 1-yard line to take the snap. That's always a good scenario for the defense. Gooden steps into the end zone. He's running for his life. He has to get rid of it. He throws late over the middle, and it's incomplete. Almost completed. Good coverage there by Collins to break it up.
I thought Gooden was going to see they had a slot receiver streaking down the middle, got behind the safety, but good pressure by the Scott County defensive line. He just couldn't get his eyes downfield in time.
2nd and 10 from the Collins 7.
Instead, had to try to check it down, and Buddy Collins did a great job breaking that ball up.
Between touchdowns and incomplete passes and flags, this is shaping up to be a long first quarter. 6:14 to play. Scott County up 14-0. The sun has set here over Bird's Nest Stadium. Homecoming 2023, and so far it's been a celebratory mood for the Cardinals, who smell blood in the water. Very late handoff, snuffed out. No, I guess he faked us out. Talked about the Scott County faking people out. Collins, he faked Scott County out too. They decked the guy they thought had the ball right at the goal line. They did get some yardage, some forward progress to the 14.
Third and manageable now.
Back to the what would have been the original line of scrimmage, and now it's 3rd and 3.
It'd be very big for Scott County to get a good stop here, and a little demoralizing for Collins if they go another 3 and out.
Cade Gooden, freshman quarterback. He will call a timeout as Collins needs to talk it over.
And that's to my point. I think Collins' coach understands that this is a huge down for him. If they can get a first down, maybe they drive a little bit, run some time off the clock. As you just mentioned, this has been a very slow first quarter, and they definitely don't want to go down 21-0 in the first quarter.
Jerry Lucas, the coach of the Collins Titans, we mentioned Cade Gooden's numbers, 912 yards passing, 9 touchdowns. He has completed 64% of his passes. He has also carried the ball for 622 yards and 10 touchdowns, averaging roughly 7 yards a pop, 6.5. Their closest running back, Delaney, has 230 yards rushing. And he has 4 receivers with double-digit catches, led by Schramm, who just made his 27th here tonight. But none of those teams were Scott County.
Nope.
And they are finding that out.
But you can see the arm talent. And Scott County can't take that for granted, especially if they start building on this lead and they can't fall asleep in the
secondary. Can't let things slip.
Right.
Can't lapse into bad habits.
Because a guy like this can score on you at any time.
I mean, we saw Lincoln County put some points on
Yep.
the board, a team that really was kind of in the same situation as Collins, overmatched personnel-wise. Keeper, first down, and that's what Gooden can do with his feet across the 20 to the 21. We haven't seen it yet other than one time when he was scrambling, but that was a designed run.
And I like that call by Jerry Lucas. You know, you get the ball in your best player's hands when you need it the most, and he got you a first down. Now you got some room. You're out of the shadow of your own end zone. You got a first down, bleed some clock, and try to go cut this to a one-score game.
Collins' second first down of the night. First one came on a bomb from Gooden to Schramm that got into Scott County territory, but the Cards buckled down from there defensively. Gooden to his right, steps, throws deep, flag coming in. Collins had the coverage. He had a guy wide open, didn't throw it there.
Wow. That's twice, Cal, that they've had a slot receiver streak wide open down the middle, and Gooden's just missed him.
He's just locked in on his one target.
And it's holding on the defense.
So that'll keep it first down. It was a free play, essentially, for Collins there after the flag came in.
And you know, Scott County has completely dominated this game, but Collins is 2 missed throws away from this being a 14-14 game.
Right.
And that's how football is.
Yeah, you got a couple of distinctly different styles here tonight, and Collins can clearly air it out if you look at their stats, and Gooden throws an accurate ball, only 1 interception on the season.
Collins coming out, trips right. Looks like Scott County's going to be in cover 4 here. Well, maybe man-to-man.
He got the jump.
He got a jump. That's just not having discipline.
And that's Rodriguez, who hasn't played a lot of defense this year, jumping quickly. So 5 more free yards for the Titans. Move it to the 36. It'll be 1st and 5.
You know, it's pretty much the first thing you're taught in flag football. Watch the ball. Just watch the ball. And you see it so much in high school football of guys that just jump. And if we're being, I hate that rule, Cal. I wish it was college and NFL where
as they get back,
if they can get back, they can get back. But nonetheless, it's a penalty on Scott County and a free 5 yards. Got to have more self-discipline.
Gooden, nobody in the backfield, empty, and had to know the run was coming up the middle. And Gooden gets the first down in an obvious running situation. So it's at the 44, and Collins on the move after starting at its own 7.
Yeah, it's twice they've ran that play, and he hasn't really gotten touched till 5 yards down the field.
My guess is they've run it a lot this year.
Right. I would expect Collins to keep trying to go back to that and really get Gooden in the running game here.
It's one of those plays that if you're successful, you're going to keep doing it until the other team proves they can stop it.
And not only that, it's going to start making the defense come up, and then Gooden can obviously throw it over the top.
Gooden again, empty backfield. This time he'll look to throw all kinds of time. He can run it forever if he wants to. He directs traffic, has a man downfield wide open inside the 30 at the 27. It is complete to Logan Hulsman, sophomore. So a freshman hitting a sophomore in stride. Gets his feet down or a foot down at the Scott County 27. And again, Collins is threatening in Cardinal territory for the second time.
Yep. And when you give him that much time back there, Cal, he's eventually going to find a guy in one of those holes in the secondary. Especially a young guy, I would give him a lot of pressure. I know he can run, but take one of those elements away quickly and make him really force a ball in there.
We saw it early. They kind of came after him a couple of times and got the sack from Jacob Blair. But lately, not as much. Slant is complete at the 20. Good hit there to contain the damage. Jackson Dameron came in to lay the lumber. Catch made by Quentin Wooten.
The other thing is yes, he can run the ball. He's a good athlete, but he doesn't really seem like he's that elusive in the pocket. You know, he's more of a downhill type guy. If you bring, some pressure at him, I think you'll be good.
Ball at the 20, so Collins in the red zone now. Gooden to his right again. Nobody open. Now he'll tuck it and run this way. He'll throw it to the end zone, waited for his man to get open, put it on a dime.
What a catch.
Touchdown, Titans. Diving grab. And there's going to be a celebration penalty, I think.
So that's my point.
Schramm with the catch.
When you give a man that much time, that wasn't the original route. I couldn't tell who it was guarding him, but he had him locked up. But when the receiver just starts, having backyard routes, he's eventually going to get open, and Gooden's too talented not to hit him. You got to get more pressure on the quarterback and not let him just sit back there.
Another year, another Gooden who can hurt you. It's freshman Cade for Collins completing the 20-yard touchdown to Michael Schramm with 3:29 to go in the first quarter and getting the Titans on the board. Kick is good, 14-7 your score.
That's a great answer there by Collins, Cal. Their back's against the wall. They're inside their own 10. They're down 14-0. And they're 3rd and 4, about to give the ball right back to Scott County in plus territory, get the first down and go down and score, cut it to 1 score. That's exactly what they had to have. And Gooden showed why he has those numbers.
It's his 20th touchdown, either running or passing.
We'll see if Scott County's defense and Coach Monty McIntyre starts bringing the pressure a little bit more. And I know I keep harping on it, but especially a young guy that's not super elusive, I just think you need to kind of make him a deer in the headlights and make him just force balls down the field. And we talk about it a lot. You got to do one or the other. You can't if you're not going to rush a bunch, you can't really have guys being open. And if you're going to rush a lot, then you better get to him, And obviously, Scott County's not really rushing a lot, and guys are still getting open, so they need to pick one or the other. And they did that on the first couple drives and got a few sacks, so I'm surprised they went away from it.
Great news is sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and Scott County has not Collins hasn't shown any signs they're going to be able to stop Scott County in that respect.
That's a good point. If you can score more than the other guys, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
They have not been anywhere close to tackling the Cardinals. The average gain has been about 40 yards.
Yeah, but coming from a guy that played for Coach Monty McIntyre, I know he's not going to allow that to happen.
No.
So they will
adjust.
Yes, they will. Should have a return here.
Short kick taken at the 27. A lot of room across the 40 to midfield and not stopped until he gets to the Collins 45. Still fighting. They're trying to strip the ball. It's about their only recourse right now.
The way he hit that hole, I thought he was gone for a second. I couldn't tell who made the tackle, but if he doesn't, he might have hit his head on the goalpost.
Is that a Mongo again on the return?
Yes, it was.
He has had himself a night with well over 100 all-purpose yards here with still 3:19 remaining in the first quarter. Had about a 25-yard run to start the game out of the Wildcat formation, then a touchdown run of 74 yards, and now a kick return of 28 to the Titan 45. Hickey under center. Looks like Garrett back there, and the next man through is Fikert and gets stuck for a loss.
It's just one play, but we were asking, will Collins make the adjustment? And they did a great job right there, not biting on the fullback.
Joshua Lanehart is the Titans' leading tackler, and we see some evidence of why there as he stops the run for a loss of half a yard. Sweep to the short side of the field. Fikert doesn't have much room to roam. He gets to about the 41 where he stopped. It'll be 3rd and 6. That kind of sets up whatever Scott County would like to do to the left side now.
Yep.
I think they got lots of room over there going toward the Collins sideline.
And they have 2 downs.
Yeah, they're not going to punt here.
No, definitely not. So,
They're probably not going to throw it unless it's play action.
but this is a good early test for Scott County. Collins hasn't came close to stopping them yet. And now it's our first third down from what first testy third down, I should say.
Almost got them to jump off. Toss to Fikert, left side.
Oh.
Cuts back. They're going to get a hold.
I think that's a bad call.
Hughley just kind of pushing his man out of the way. I didn't see a lot of grab there.
I thought he did a good job of creating the hole and setting the edge. But I guess the back judge thought it was more of a pull.
Chop block again?
I
guess that wasn't on him. I guess that's why we didn't see a hold, because it wasn't him.
It wasn't him. It must have been on the interior. I'm telling you, Cal, in the last
absolutely,
2 weeks, they've had
that's at least the 5th time in 2 games.
They've had to have put up a Scott County tape and said, you got to call this, because I've never seen it this many times in 20 years combined.
That's going to push it all the way back to the Scott County 44, where it'll be 3rd and 21.
That's the bad thing about it. It's a personal foul. It's not like it's a false start or whatever for 5 yards. It really kills the drive.
15-yard spot foul.
Right. See if Eli Lilly gets in the mix here.
Nope, they're going to give it to Hughley. He's got all kinds of room across midfield. 40, first down and more to the 30 before he's tripped up inside the 30 at the 28. So what do you do on 3rd and 21? You give it to Ellis Hughley for a 27-yard gain.
Man, I love that play. And the thing is they only really run it on times like that when they really need it. And I get why they do it, because it's so elusive. But it's a double fake handoff to the backside running back counter sweep. And if you run it correctly and you block it correctly, there's pretty much only one guy left, and that's the safety, and that's who eventually brought down Ellis. Great job by Scott County, and great job by Eli Lilly out there on the edge getting a block. If he doesn't make that block, that corner makes the tackle, and we're looking at 4th down.
Timeout on the field as Collins wants to talk it over after that. 1:34 to play in the first quarter. 14-7. Scott County leads this one. They've scored on both their first 2 possessions with ease, and now trying to punch another one in here. 3rd and 21. Hughley goes for 27. He has one of the 2 touchdowns. Timmy Amongo has the other in explosive fashion, a 74-yarder down the home sideline. Big crowd on hand for homecoming tonight. Cal Oaks along with Sam Sutton here in the booth. Peter Wilson directing traffic. DT Wells somewhere in the house. I want to thank Mike Scoggin as well for making the magic happen back at the mothership, allowing us to do this. We'll have Scott County and Anderson County next week. The Bearcats might not know what they're getting into. Well, they might know.
I think they know.
They might not be able to do much about it.
They probably just won't like it very much.
That's one of those that's maybe reminiscent of the Montgomery County, Grant County games of the past few district years. I know those schools are happy to be rid of Scott County and Douglas. There's a run up the middle that doesn't amount to much.
I will say Collins has done a good job on the fullback dive.
And again, we haven't seen Fryman tonight. It's been Kane Garrett all the way so far. Fryman's in uniform, but not playing as of yet.
Not really. I don't know if you know, but I'm not really sure what that that is.
Could be any number of things.
Right.
We won't speculate.
Right.
Unusual to see a senior in uniform on homecoming and not playing. There is a toss to the
it
right
looks like
and
they're
another
call
flag.
Another chop.
I think so.
And the thing is, Cal is, and he look at him. The referee is explaining it to our offensive lineman why he called it, and obviously our guy's not very happy because the referee is very animated about it. But that's exactly how it's taught at Scott County, and it's not egregious and it's not illegal from what I've known my entire life. So I don't know why this guy continues to keep calling it, but they just called it again. Coach McKee's not happy about it either. I don't know what else if you're Coach McKee, I don't know what else you're supposed to do because he's been teaching that exact block for, 30 years now. And like I said, it's not egregious. It's not a cheap shot. It's not It's not any of that. It's part of football. You see it at all levels. I'm not quite sure. But nonetheless, Scott County's back in another second and forever.
Back at the 40 of Collins. They have to get to the 17 for a first down. But the way they're running the ball, they don't care. They'll just give it to Hughley. Hughley gets inside the 30 again, back to the original line of scrimmage. Cards not doing anything different than they have since the 1990s, yet getting called for 3 personal fouls here in the first quarter.
And like we mentioned, there was probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of the exact same call last week. And we didn't see it the first few weeks of the year, so I don't know why all of a sudden they're just calling it. Sweep to Thomas Spiker. That's a good tackle, because if he doesn't make it, it's an easy touchdown.
Good fake to Garrett there, and just gave it to, it was a secondary fake as Spiker had the ball.
Like it'll be the last play of the quarter.
Pushed it into the red zone. It'll be 4th and 2 when we come back at the Collins 19.
And as soon as the quarter ends, Jacob Fryman ran in. So
maybe it was a 1-quarter suspension of some sorts, or who knows. Oh,
maybe maybe they're just trying to get Kane Garrett some more run against a team that they feel like they should win against, and we never know.
We never know. There's always a method to the madness.
Yep.
27 years of it, more than 200 wins for Jim McKee.
Also, Jacob might be a little banged up.
We've seen it. I mean, and that's part of the reason he's been using so many backs early in the year, to kind of keep everybody fresh, kind of nurse those injuries. Against Great Crossing, I know Thomas Fikert was banged up in that one. And the next week, we didn't see him on offense at all. It was Buddy Collins doing most of the work down at Lincoln County. So,
and Coach McKee's always done that, with games he feels like they should win, especially if someone's a little nicked up or hurt. If it was the playoffs, they'd be in there playing right away. But in a game he feels like they should win, he's going to play that backup guy, get him some experience, let that guy rest a little bit. So maybe that's what's going on with Jacob. But with Collins scoring, cutting it to 1 score, and a short 4th down, you kind of need your bowling ball, your senior leader. And he's running
downhill, number 39. He's their leading rusher.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't get it right here.
4th and 2. Collins probably knows what's coming. Can they stop it?
That's where
the answer is no. Inside the 15, Fryman, first down.
Yeah, I mean, when he doesn't play the entire first quarter and he comes in on 4th and 3,
pretty fresh.
You're going to know where that ball is coming. Can you stop it?
Fryman still in the game on first down from the 14. Hughley in motion. Hickey will throw to that side. Lilly, block from Hughley. Lilly gets to the 5, 2nd and short.
Glad to see Eli get involved in the game. I was thinking they might go a fade right there, but he was too far outside the numbers for a fade to come. I like that play call. Now you can go anywhere you want.
Fryman, boom, touchdown. 6 yards out officially, and the Cards stretch the lead back to 2 TDs.
And that was a good answer by Scott County's offense. Collins goes on a long drive, cut it to 1 score, gives them some life, and Scott County took it right back out of them right there with a great long drive, especially after 2 personal fouls that could have derailed the entire drive. So great job by Scott County with the answer. And now we're going to see if the defense can wake up a little bit and correct some of those holes in the secondary.
Taysir Jabour's kick is good. 21-7 with 11:08 to play here in the first half. That was a long drive made longer by the Laundry. But all's well that ends well for the Cards, who have scored on all 3 possessions and lead 21-7.
Such a beautiful song.
We hear it a lot. And we'll probably hear it more tonight and more next week and more in the first round of the playoffs. And
I say it every week, but it never gets old.
It'd be nice to hear it at Kroger Field.
Yes, it would.
Cards up 2 scores in their first official home game since week 1 when they demolished Madison Southern. They were the visiting team when they beat Great Crossing. Had a 3-game sandwich on the road, win at Lincoln, loss at Boyle, win at Madison Central. And now this one, game 6. Jabor puts it in the air. Kick taken at the 3-yard line by Collins. Across the 20, that's about as far as it's going to go. Dropped at the 22 is Wooten. Titans will go back to work.
Man, Jackson Dameron's just a menace on special teams.
He makes just about every special teams tackle. It's uncanny. Unless it's Antonio Fry stripping the ball for a fumble. That's the other outcome that often happens on special teams.
Now, I'm interested to see what kind of adjustment Coach Monty McIntyre makes right here and see if they start bringing more pressure. I've talked about it, ad nauseum, but you cannot let this young quarterback just sit back there all day and find holes in the secondary.
Cade Gooden, the quarterback in question. He's a freshman. He has thrown a 20-yard touchdown to Michael Schramm already tonight. He'll get ready to throw again. A little screen, read well, but he bounces off the first tackler, not the second. Gets thrown out of bounds at the 22.
That was a great job by Scott County's defense rallying to the ball. A great first hit. I couldn't tell who it was, but bounced off, and immediately 2 more Cardinals right there at the marker for a gain of nothing.
If your eyes that are half the age of mine cannot tell, I certainly cannot tell. The Cards are wearing the reddish numbers on the gray coal-colored tops.
Grays are beautiful.
Bottoms.
Yes, they are.
First quarter stats, a very long first quarter, 226 to 109. A lot of offense in that period.
Colin comes out and empty right here. I was about to say quarterback
That
draw.
usually means a good and run. He'll take it to the left side, spin for the first down, or close to it anyway.
See, but that's to my point right there. That wasn't elusive at all. That was downhill running. He bounced off a couple tackles. He's not hitting the hold extremely hard. You got to be aware of that with empty. That's kind of the number one play that everyone goes to, especially Collins with their great quarterback.
Gooden was involved in all but 1 touch for Collins in the first quarter. 12 plays, 6 of them were passes, 5 of them were keepers.
Looks like Scott County is going to come with a double linebacker blitz right here up the middle, maybe checking out of it.
3rd and 1. That's probably Gooden territory.
They do come.
He's going to throw it. Deep left side, good coverage, and they're going to get a flag. He tried to make the one-handed catch.
They're going to call pass interference, but that's exactly what
that's rough.
I think Scott County needs to do. He had a 2-step drop and just threw a go ball out there. And
that was the old Joe Flacco chuck and pray.
Yep.
And they got the call.
But Scott County did exactly what they needed to do right there. They forced a quick throw, a low percentage throw, and they got bailed out by pass interference, but I think that's what they need to start doing going forward, bringing more pressure on him.
It's a 15-yard penalty in high school, moves the ball to the Collins 46 for a fresh set of downs. 9:24 to play, second quarter. Scott County 21, Collins 7 here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. Cal Oaks, Sam Sutton.
As great as Timmy Amongo is, he's still a young freshman. He's still a little grabby out there. He'll work through it. But that's a couple penalties early on him for just being a little grabby out there.
And now a timeout on the
Probably,
field.
I was about to say, Coach Monty is
he
not
wants
a
to
happy camper.
Get things sorted out after that.
When he has to burn a timeout, it's never a good thing.
No. You're going to get yelled at.
I know
somehow.
exactly what's going on in that huddle right now, and it's nothing good. I can tell you that.
Great Crossing 43-yard field goal by Jack Harold. In addition to the earlier touchdown run by Zach Morris, it's 10-0 Warhawks down at Madison Central. 3:23 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, last week Madison Central they lined up in the veer and just didn't really run the veer. They just handed it off to the fullback and did nothing. It was a quite of a weird offense I've ever seen in my life. The funny thing is I said on the Madison Central side, I didn't get to tell you this, and I started talking to a Madison Central mom behind me. It turned out to be Walt Wells' wife, and then he showed up, and I talked to him. Their son was the quarterback. And
no kidding.
It was funny, but Yeah, it was very weird.
All the coaches from EKU, their kids end up playing for Madison Central.
Yep.
Robbie Todd playing basketball, and you've got a Wells playing football, and on and on.
It's the big 6A school there, typically the better team in sports.
It's where a lot of times it ends up. They're struggling in football, to be sure, this year, as they are 0-5 and trailing by 2 scores as Great Crossing looks for its second win of the season. Back to action here after the timeout. Cards have 1 remaining. Titans have 2 here in the first half. A first half that is taking forever, and this is not going to help.
Well, it should be a delay game, yep. That's hard to do out of a timeout,
You would think that a time, but at least they didn't call the timeout. It's worse when you call the timeout as the offense, and then
regardless, though, as a coach, that's where
you got to be ready.
You want to yank your hair out.
Whatever's left of it's turning gray.
So 1st and 15. Collins coming out with a quad to the right.
They are flooding the right side.
Let's see if they come with a quarterback draw again. They do.
Again, all kinds of room. Cross midfield. I don't know what the Cardinals. I mean, you get lulled to sleep because you see all those receivers out here. But you don't think Gooden's going to run it for 24 yards, but he does.
And that's why they're doing it. Obviously, you get a numbers game, and it's 1 more lineman than the defense has. And then Gooden's a good athlete. He can just go between the hole. But if you're Scott County, you got to start leaving Paul Gardner in there at safety and try to play a zone coverage, maybe cover 2, cover 3 out here. Give yourself an extra guy in the box.
Fake throw complete. Stopped right at the marker is Hulsman. So he's hit the sophomore twice tonight.
And I like the way Collins' offense is rolling. We mentioned it early. Scott County got a couple stops, but Collins had 2 wide open guys that they just missed early.
They're in a good rhythm right now.
And since then, they've drove it down Scott County's throat a little bit.
And it's all been on the shoulders of Cade Gooden, whether it's been running or passing. As we said, only 1 play so far has been him handing off. Everything else, a run or a throw from number 3. They'll look to throw it again. Lots of time. He's got a man along the sideline. Tightrope walk complete. First down at the 14.
And they're doing a great job of keeping Scott County on their heels. They don't know what's coming. They're staying in a rhythm, but they're mixing it up. And that's how you get open. You throw bombs down the field, loosens up the run game. You start getting the run game. Then you go through the middle. It just opens everything up. And Collins is doing a great job of taking advantage of it.
Again, 1 setback is number 44, Lanehart. More of a defensive threat. I don't think he's probably going to get the ball here. It's going to go to Gooden again. He rolls to his left and throws it to the end zone and perfectly placed for a touchdown. Made it look easy.
You don't normally see that in high school football. That was a good back shoulder throw and catch in the corner of the end zone. Gooden's going to be a player, Cal. If he's only a freshman.
He's real good.
Maybe they're discussing if his feet were in here. No, that was a quick discussion. Maybe a little sideline warning.
Maybe. I'm trying to see who caught the ball. Love to give credit where credit's due, but it was over in the back left corner of the end zone.
That was a sideline warning, which means nothing.
No.
We see it called every week.
As long as it doesn't get called twice. Again, that's been a point of emphasis for a while now.
That's been called forever.
We're a point after away from it being 21-14, which maybe we weren't expecting, but this offense is no joke from Collins. With 8:13 to play, it's back to a 1-score game.
I mean, as we mentioned in the pregame, Cal, there's a reason why this team's 4-1. They can score. They have a good enough defense to keep them in it. The good thing for Scott County is they got out to a 14-0 lead. So if we keep going back and forth in this scoring battle, obviously Scott County's going to win. But all it takes is Collins to get 1 or 2 stops, maybe a turnover by Scott County, and Collins is right in this thing. I don't really think Scott County's defense was expecting this, but some of these seniors, some of these leaders got to step up. Paul Garner, Jacob Blair, those type of guys got to step up Jasonte Harmon, for so long, they kind of relied on him just to go wreak havoc in the backfield. And this is a game, Cal, where if he was in it, I think he'd have 3 sacks by now. But obviously, you don't have him, and at some point, you got to just move on from it and make adjustments and go from there. Figure out other ways to get pressure.
Cardinals haven't really been in a close game where those adjustments have meant much, or they've been able to see how they play out.
Yeah, you're right, because we've either blown people out or got blown out.
Or we're the victim of a blowout down at Boyle. So this is the first one, since Great Crossing, which was 21-14 early in the third quarter,
but
that's been like this.
Yeah, and we even knew it. That was never really in doubt.
It was just a matter of
when will Scott County wake up?
This one, Collins has some weapons.
Yes, they do.
They got to figure it out. Short kick again, and well placed by Collins and well covered by Collins, and the Cards will go to work at their own 25 with 8:07 to play.
This is what you can't have. Just like right there on that kickoff, you see some Scott County players pointing fingers, getting upset with each other. When times get tough, you got to stick together and not point the finger or yell at your teammate or fall apart.
You can't have offense against defense and offense against special teams. And
you got to stay together
and
pull for each other and words of encouragement,
You've got Hughley, Fryman, and Fikert, so the normal
backfield back there.
The offense is 3 for 3.
Yeah, they're like the Mr. Reliables back there. They're going to do everything right.
The meat and potatoes.
Yep.
Here comes the sweep. They read it pretty well, though. Tripped Hughley up at the 35. Right. Might have gotten past the marker. Yeah, they'll mark him at the 36. 11-yard gain, move the chains.
Isn't that funny? Collins reads it good. They make a good
play. Still
play.
Give up a double-digit gain.
Yep. And that's the thing about the wing T is if you run it correctly and block it correctly, it's so hard to stop. And Scott County runs it as good as anybody.
Fryman, boom. Stopped at the 39, but doing what he does, a gain of 3 to keep the train rolling.
And I know Scott County's kind of ran it at will, but I wouldn't be surprised with a play action, go route or play action to Isaac York over the middle here soon. Collins is starting to make some adjustments. They're starting to come up a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked at all with the play action here soon.
Ball at the 39, 2nd and 7. Clock rolling at 7:20 to go, second quarter. Hand off to Fikert. A lot of room right side. He's got the corner. 45, first down and more. Past midfield. Still on his feet. 45, 40, 35. Pushed out at the 30. First down, Cardinals.
Well, when you got Thomas Fikert, you don't have to play action.
They'll mark him at the 33. They'll say that's where he stepped out, but it's a gain of 28. And the Cardinals are back in business once again.
And that's what I mean about the Mr. Reliables. That's 3 seniors that have been in this system for 4 years now. They run their fakes to perfection. They run as hard as they possibly can, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Said this offense is going to cover a multitude of sins.
Just ultimate team players.
Cutting back inside. More room left side, untouched. Hughley, one man to beat, finally gets tripped up right at the 1-yard line. The ball came out by contact. Yeah. They're going to mark him down, but it'll be 1st and goal from inside the 1.
Here comes Jacob Blair territory.
Or Fryman.
Excuse me, Jacob Fryman.
Blair could hit the whole 3-yard here, too. I'd pay to watch it.
He can hit somebody. Yeah, I'd be shocked if he doesn't get this ball.
Madison Central on the board in the final minute of the second quarter down the other game.
There's
and
Fryman.
In this game, Jacob Fryman doing what Jacob Fryman do, putting the Cards back up. 2 scores. The heavy lifting came from Thomas Fikert and Ellis Hughley, and Fryman finished off the final 2 feet to make it 27-14 with 6:44 to go here in the second quarter. Jabor's kick, he's up and good for the 4th time tonight, and it's a 28-14 spread. And there's that song.
There's that beautiful song. Hoping to hear Cardinals here in a minute. They didn't do it last touchdown.
It's funny. They faked us out.
There it is.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, baby. But as great as the offense is moving the ball and they're looking terrific and pretty much doing what they want to do, if you're a Scott County fan, coach, player, you still have a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth that Collins is starting to move it on you and scoring on you. You know, this game is nowhere near over, especially the way Gooden's been playing. You would love to get a stop right here and maybe even another score before half to really feel good about yourself.
Because Collins will receive the second half kickoff.
Yes, they will.
So you don't want them to have a double
And they're
possession
kicking it
here.
around.
And they're going to kick it around inside their own 10. So the best friend of the Cardinals right now, Collins special teams for the second time tonight, will start from deep in its own territory.
Yeah, it went from it's a terrible kick, and then it just kind of kept giving a Scott County bounce, and Collins couldn't handle it. They just had to fall on it around the 9-yard line.
A long way to go from there with 6:44 to play in the half. Collins down 28-14. Scott County's offense absolutely unstoppable. I mean, they haven't even been touched on the sweep tonight.
Nope. But if Scott County can get a stop right here deep in Collins' own territory, that sets up your offense even better.
Gooden slant complete. They've run that to perfection. Stopped here at the 17 for a gain of 8.
You know, we talked about Scott County not really even getting touched, doing what they want. Ever since that second, third possession for Collins, they're pretty much doing what they want on offense as well.
Logan Hulsman, we mentioned he's one of those 4 receivers that has at least 10 catches on the season through only 5 games coming into this one for Collins. Collins on a 4-game win streak here, and offensively they've looked good. Gooden again. Keeps it. Going to be stopped shy, I think, from where they're marking it.
It looks like where they're marking he's shy. That's a way better job by Scott County.
First time they've really stopped that.
Yes, they have. And they had extra guys in the box, which is what you have to do against this quarterback draw. Especially
3rd and less than a yard.
If they keep having success with it, you're just going to have to tell your corners, hey, buckle up. You're one-on-one out there. We got to have extra guys in the box. Win your one-on-one matchup. And if they can, Scott County should win in a route. If they can't, we're going to have a shootout.
We're talking about this for a while tonight. It's going to be a 3-hour game. Gooden sweep, first down, pushed out at the 20.
I know we got the first down, but that was still a good job by Scott County stringing it out. Only got a gain about 2 yards. Scott County's looked a lot better on this drive already. Let's see if they can convert it into a stop.
First down, Titans at their own 20-yard line, clock running, 5:10 in the half. I think Collins would like to milk a little bit of that time here if they could. That's their best defense right now, is to keep Gooden on the field. He'll roll to his left again. Great coverage that time, dislodging the ball. He had his receiver and hands on it, Antoine Delaney.
And that's a great job. I think it was Christian Rodriguez. I'm not 100% sure, but brought pressure on Gooden. He had to get rid of it when he didn't want to.
Who broke it up? Was it Dameron or Blair?
It was Dameron.
Yeah.
Forced not a great throw, and we broke it up. You got to make him try to force balls that he doesn't really want to get rid of. Going back to a trips look to the right here. One back. Scott County bringing pressure up the middle.
Gooden to the right this time. He will throw it that way. Oh, nice leaping, almost grab, but then dropped by Hulsman there. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Scott County brought pressure, did a good job of forcing Gooden out of the pocket to get rid of it quick. Had a guy open.
Just overthrew it, just a touch.
Just a tad, and let's count it as what it was. It's a drop ball.
It was a drop.
But definitely didn't throw it the way he wanted to. Brings up a big 3rd down for Scott County's defense. Get off the field for the first time and feels like forever.
Gooden, though, can find a target on the run, which
Yes,
is
he
a
can.
skill for a kid that's probably 14 or 15 years old. You don't necessarily see at this level.
Nope.
He will go left under pressure, has to get rid of it. And there is a good stop for the Cards with 4:44 to play. It'll be 4th and 10.
Great job by Scott County. And that's exactly what I expected out of Coach Monty. Start bringing some pressure, make him get it out of his hand. And that's exactly what they did on that drive right there. On that ball right there, he couldn't even get it to his receiver, just kind of had to throw it out of bounds into the ground just to get rid of it, save a sack. We'll see if Paul Gardner can get to this ball. He's been close a couple times already. I think he might be able to.
He's got a nose for it.
And if not, can they set up the wall for Buddy Collins?
Barely gets rid of it. You almost called that one.
He was there.
Takes a Collins bounce to Buddy Collins. He's got room going to the right in Collins territory at the 40. I'm going to get the flag. It's going to come back. Collins takes it the distance, but it's not going to count.
And I knew they were going to call that, and we didn't have to do it. Buddy was going to run right by that guy.
That's what you've got to convey to your team is that Buddy Collins and Timmy Amongo don't need your help other than, at that first block at the point of attack and then let the magic happen.
I don't know who it was. They just couldn't help themselves. They wanted to get the highlight block on the crackback. And trust me, Cal, I used to love doing crackbacks, but it's outlawed now. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that and know that and just get in the way of the guy. You don't have to decleat him. Now, instead of a touchdown and all the momentum in the world, you get backed up another 15 yards, and you're starting around the 50 instead of a touchdown. Still great field position for Scott County, who hasn't been close to getting stopped, with about 4:25 left in the first half. I don't think it will be a problem for Scott County, but if something goes wrong right here, that it's going to bite him in the butt.
A woulda, coulda, shoulda situation there, as we said it. Collins didn't need the block.
Yep. Excuse me, they're going to be at about the 42 instead of the 50.
It's going to come back 15 yards from the spot of the foul. The flag was thrown at the Collins 43. So, the offense will go back to work. They haven't been stopped yet. Don't foresee it happening anytime soon, but we shall see. They haven't thrown the ball much at all. I think Hickey threw one ball to Lilly down in the red zone.
Yeah, just threw about an arrow route. But they really haven't had to.
All kinds of room for Garrett. He's still on his feet at the 30. He wasn't even touched till he got to the Collins 35. That's been the theme tonight, guys. They're getting 15, 20, 25 yards downfield before anybody knows they have the ball.
And I had complimented Collins on actually stopping the belly. We had been running all over him on everything else. They had done a good job on the belly play up until that point. King Garrett just got shot out of a rocket.
We've talked about Garrett's ability to kind of hide back there and maybe conceal that play a little bit. Now it's Fryman bringing the thunder. Stacked up at the 25, negligible gain. We'll call it 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
And that's the thing about Scott County's offense is it's so hard to stop, and you start getting tired, and you don't have any clue where the ball is. So when you're tired, the other team's better than you, and you don't know where the ball is.
That's the triple whammy.
That's when you just start getting scored on at will.
This might be the spot for the play action throw here. This is when the other team's in that situation is usually the time.
Yep. And Isaac York hasn't really been.
Boom.
Oh, there he is. He's wide open.
Touchdown. It's almost like we've been watching this team for a while.
Yeah, it's almost like I know the system and how it goes. And
Hickey to Hughley, 25 yards, Cards in command.
But that's, a testament to exactly what they do. You work, you don't know where the ball's at, you get tired, you run it, and then boom, play action. No one's within 20 yards of Ellis Hughley. Easy touchdown. Scott County finally gets that, they already had a 2-touchdown lead, but it feels like that really gave them the momentum and the lead that they need.
Jabour's kick, good. 35-14 with 3:23 to play in the half.
And Cal, the way that Collins throws it, as much as they throw it, it's not out of question that Scott County gets the ball again before half.
No, exactly. If the clock stops for any reason.
Couple incompletions, a timeout. Scott County gets it at the 50. They're, they can score at any time they want. And then you go from a game where Collins feels like they're still in it. They're having momentum. They're scoring. It goes from that to you're down 42-14 at halftime if Scott County can score again, and
then you're staring
demoralizing.
Then you're staring at the running clock coming
Yep.
out of the half if they get a touchdown and a
Exactly.
PAT, 2-point conversion. Getting ahead of ourselves a little bit,
But
this has gone from being a kind of a slightly tense situation, not being able to stop Collins much, to getting one stop, and now you're in full command because your offense simply has put Collins in a position where they have no idea where the ball is.
Right. And what I was talking about earlier in the game, when they were down 2 touchdowns and it was 3rd and 4, they ended up getting it. They got, they cut it to 1 score. Right here, you kind of have to do the same thing.
Line drive kick, and that is mishandled and goes out of bounds inside the 1. Are they going to get?
There's no way. That's at the 1.
That's absolutely at the 1.
Wow.
Wowzer.
Talk about a position to put your freshman quarterback in.
So they have started now 3 drives inside their own 10 tonight.
Yeah, great job by Tayseer. He's had some wild kicks, and they've just gone all of it, to his liking. If I'm Collins, my guess is they're going to try to do a quarterback draw right here to get out of their end zone, give them some room.
Yeah, you've got to have your quarterback. Problem is, he takes the snap halfway.
Yeah, he's
5 yards deep.
He's standing on the R in Cardinals in the end zone. Oh,
he will throw it, slant, incomplete, broken up nicely right around the 10-yard line. Coming across there was Garner. Looked like, or is it Amongo? No,
it was Gardner. Yep. But here's to our point. You have the ball on the 1-yard line. You just took like 6 seconds off the clock, and it's already 2nd down.
Pretty soon, you're either going to be punting from your own end zone.
Right. And Paul Gardner should have had a block punt, and then Buddy obviously had a touchdown.
You can start playing the Jaws theme music right now. That's how Collins feels. Gooden throws late, almost picked.
Justin Stevenson stepped in front of that ball. I thought he was going to take it for 6.
Thought for a minute Gooden was going to do the Dan Orlovsky and step on the back line there. He was deep in the end zone throwing that ball.
Yeah, Justin Stevenson got his right paw on that ball. Couldn't bring it in, but again, it's now they've taken off a total of 8 seconds, 9 seconds, and it's 3rd and 10 from their 1-yard line.
They've run one conventional, traditional running play all night tonight. And they're not in a position where you can do it right now with their offense because he doesn't take snaps under center. He will roll to his left and throw. And broken up, tipped, intercepted, going to be a pick 6. They're already sounding the horn. Touchdown, Scott County, 20-yard run back. Who got it?
I believe it was Timmy Amongo.
I think it was Timmy. I think it was number 9.
It was Timmy Amongo. It was a great job by Paul Gardner breaking it up, forcing a tip ball in the air. Timmy Amongo brings it down and takes it for 6. And it's exactly what we just talked about. You go from being in the game, scoring a couple drives in a row, to now you're down 41 to 14, and it's still with 3 minutes left in the first half. It could go
to a running clock before the half.
Great job by Scott County's defense to settle in and get back-to-back stops, including a pick 6. I told you Coach Monty was going to take that personally, and he did, and showed why he's a good defensive coordinator for the Cardinals. That was a good hold by Caden Drumheller right there. Coming from a fellow holder.
Yes, you got to call him out a little bit.
That was a great hold right there by him. Got it up there.
Tip drill, pick 6. Garner to Amongo. Amongo's 2nd score of the night. 1 offense, 1 defense. Hey, he might be a contender or candidate for Chick-fil-A player of the game. We'll award that when this one's over.
Yeah, we still got a lot of ball, but he's up there.
74-yard touchdown run, about 140 yards of all-purpose between offense and special teams, and
can,
then the 20 here on the defensive return.
When you can score on both sides of the ball, it's hard to not give it to you.
And a freshman. We talked about the freshman on the other side. Hello. There's a pretty exciting freshman that wears number 9 for Scott County as well.
And the thing that no one really talks about, in some programs, that's common.
Oh, that yeah.
At Scott County, that's unheard of. You don't play as a freshman.
Other than Hudson and Covington, that hasn't happened in my time here, and he'd probably be the third.
Besides Hickey, and that's
Hickey, right?
Just Hickey,
and again, even that night, Jim McKee wanted to do something different. It's hard to pull the trigger on a freshman quarterback.
It is.
Say, okay, let's put him out there in the belly of the beast. But he had to that night, and it's been his ball game ever since.
Well, let's see what speaking of freshman quarterbacks, let's see what the young freshman quarterback from Collins
Cade Gooden
can do right here.
He has been responsible for 21 touchdowns this year, 11 through the air, 10 on the ground, 2 of those tonight. Some great catches, one on a back shoulder throw to the back of the end zone, another a diving grab.
Good news for him is he's starting at the 20 instead of his 1 on this drive.
Yeah, he's not in the red, so to speak.
And, Collins has done – he must really like being outside the pocket on the roll, because they've done that about 70% of the time.
That's a bad snap. He's going to have to fall on it at his own 5. Still alive. Touchdown. And they will go for 2. We're trying to get the running clock. Who gets it? Is it Rodriguez?
Let's see.
C-Rod?
C-Rod, I believe.
I'll tell you what, he is a lot lighter than he has been in past years, because I have a hard time picking him out.
Yes, he is.
And we never see him punt the ball. So
we
don't get a good look at him out there.
Have we even punted this year? I honestly don't know.
Maybe Bull County once. No, because that whole night they were in Bull County territory. They just couldn't finish drive.
Right. Man.
No, they're going to kick. They're not going to go for the 2 and get the 36-point lead. So
we talked about Scott County maybe trying to get it back one more time. Scott County has scored 3 touchdowns in less than a minute of game time. There was 3:26 when Scott County scored. And then they've had a pick 6 and a fumble recovery touchdown on top of that run-in by Fryman. 49-14 with 2:52 to play in the first half.
The last 2 were a interception return for a touchdown and a fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown.
And that's really tough luck right there if you're Collins. Bad snap, rolls in. And Gooden had a chance to fall on it, just kind of squirted away from him. And then after that, there's about 4 Scott County players there to recover it.
We went from 21-14 to 49-14, and about the time it would take you to walk to the concession stand and buy some popcorn.
Yep. And at this point for Collins, you're just kind of testing your pride, trying to get to the half.
You obviously haven't been in that situation this year. You had a tough, fairly close loss to Shelby County before your 4 wins. Of course, that's a rivalry game, so we know what that's all about around here.
They're going to call another offsides.
Scott County, again, for the second week in a row, about the only thing you can complain about when you look at the halftime stats will be the penalties. Chop blocks and a couple of offsides, pretty much.
The thing is you could call that on every high school football team on every kickoff, and they almost never do. But
it's the calls on offense.
It is, and I don't understand.
There's something going on there.
And on, in closer games against better competition,
it's going to matter.
That's going to matter and bite Scott County. And
good news about what is essentially a 10-game preseason is you get to work that out before you get there.
But that's the weird thing for Scott County is what do you do? Because that's exactly what's been taught. It's not like, you got in false starts or whatever.
Kick taken at the 5. Collins just trying to get to the locker room right now. Good return out to the 30. They'll go to work there. That's their best field position in a while to start a drive. As we said, 3 drives started inside the 10. So their last 2 offensive plays have turned into touchdowns for Scott County. We'll see what they do now. That's when you start to get in a freshman's head a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, I think they're already there.
That snap was certainly not his fault.
No, it was not.
He tried to fall on it, but no such luck. He'll keep it and get smothered
in the
for no
backfield.
gain.
And this is what happens when you grow a lead like this. Your defense starts feeling free and comfortable and can just play with speed. And if you're Collins, you start tightening it up a little bit because you don't want to make another mistake. You don't want to give up another touchdown or turnover. And
as they say, you can pin back your ears.
Yep, exactly.
If you're Scott County. 2nd and 11. Collins content to let the clock run a little bit here, wouldn't you know?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
And jumping off sides. That'll get him out of danger a little bit, make it 2nd and 6.
Oh, it's just so irritating as a coach.
That's got to be the 10th penalty on Scott County. They had 6 in the first quarter for 60 yards.
And here, if you're Scott County, you really don't want to give up a deep ball. You don't want anything over your head. If Collins is going to go score in the next 2 minutes, make them really earn it. Don't give them a free bomb to feel better about themselves going into half.
Gooden once again piled up at the line of scrimmage, going nowhere. In fact, that's going to be a loss back to the original line of scrimmage of the 31.
Antonio Fry, great job. Scott County took away both the running back and quarterback there. He faked the handoff. 2 guys tackle the running back, and Antonio Fry is standing right there to tackle Gooden for a loss. Again, it went from early, Gooden not getting touched until five yards down the field to as soon as he's catching the snap, he's getting smothered. Scott County's defense has woken up.
Gooden with time to throw and dropped. Little middle screen there. And the clock will stop at 1:12. So guess what? Scott County is going to get the ball back with some time.
Yeah. I know I mentioned it before, but watch out for Paul Gardner coming off the edge here. We'll see if Collins scoots to his side to try to protect that.
That would be the perfect ending. You figure you've gotten 2 defensive touchdowns here. You need a special teams.
If you scoot out to Paul Gardner, that leaves I think it's Luke Valencia in the inside that he's just going to crease it, and he has a better angle than Paul does.
Either
pick
or.
Your poison. You just got to get it off if you're the punter here. Hope for the best.
And now we got whistles, and they did get it off.
It looks like delay game.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to get that off. Paul was going to lay out and get it.
They weren't. They still might not.
Especially 5 yards further. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call a block.
We've called a couple of things already. We called the play action touchdown.
Why not? We're hot. It's a heat check for us.
Used to be a game you could play at the bar. It was like Monday Night Football. You could try to predict what the coach was going to call for the next play, and there were like scores and prizes and stuff. That is a high snap, and barely. Taking on a couple of bounces at the 40. Why not? Buddy Collins. He's going to get strung up there, though, and go nowhere. 61 seconds to go 60 yards. We'll see what the Cards have in store.
Yeah, we'll see how
they've got one timeout.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive Scott County gets here.
I think if you pick up a lot of yardage, which they have all that. I mean, other than a couple of fullback dives, every play's gone for 10-plus yards.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And this also might be a spot where you try to see Tayseer maybe try to kick a longer field goal, see what he has.
This is 2 weeks in a row where your average gain has been 15 yards or more.
Yep. That's a good feeling if you're the offensive unit.
Yeah, that's true. A Tayseer field goal would put you over that threshold, too, for the running clock. There's a quick throw to Eli Lilly, tiptoes and gets to his own 49 along the sideline. It'll stop the clock.
I like that. Get it out to
Use
him
the
quick.
12th man there.
Yep.
And
get him out there quick. Let him try to make a move. Worst comes to worst. He gets a few yards and gets out of bounds. Instead, he gets 8 and gets out of bounds.
Just to put this first half in perspective, we are still playing here in the second quarter, and down at Madison Central, they're starting the third quarter, and they had a homecoming court in the extended halftime. A little fake to throw there, and then he faked the throw, faked to Garrett, and then he got picked. Well, the Cards got a little cute there. This might be a pick six for the Collins Titans. It is.
Unbelievable.
Trying to go for the knockout punch. And instead, Collins runs it back, still with 44 seconds to go. Joshua Lanehart returns at 60 yards for the Collins score.
Anyone that has the over is pretty happy right now.
That was another call I might have been able to make before this game started, just judging from both offense and defense on the Scott County side of things. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lincoln County game, although all of it coming in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, this is a full game.
There's the block. Paul Garner, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, now you got 44
Yeah,
seconds.
why not? Go for it again.
You can set up a wall here on the kickoff, get great field position, or even just let, Timmy Amongo, Buddy Collins bust one. You're still set up in a good position, still with one timeout. Scott County's still in good position to try to score again right before half.
So the Titans duck the knockout punch and return it 60 yards for 6.
That was a great catch. We didn't even mention it, but that was at the shoestrings.
Yeah,
and somehow he brought that up on a crossing route to Eli Lilly. Just never got to him. And as you mentioned, it faked both busts out. We thought 3 different people had that ball.
First, he kind of faked the throw and then faked to Garrett and then threw it for real.
Yeah, I was watching Garrett.
He might have faked his own guys out there.
I was watching Garrett, and then by the time I looked up, Collins had the football.
Going the other way. Mass confusion.
If Collins was smart here, they'd squib it or kick it to one of the up backs. I would not give
Collins won't kick it to Collins.
Yeah,
is what you're
I would
saying.
not give Collins or Amongo a chance to return it on you here, or just give Scott County great field position.
And they will kind of sort of kick it deep to the 20, coming up to take it on the run. And a flag coming in. I think it was Collins on the return of the Collins kickoff. Another penalty. 38.8 seconds in the first half that wouldn't end.
Holding on Scott County.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Probably just expect a sweep right here.
I mean, why not? You've gained 20, 30 yards every time you've run it.
If Hickey hadn't have just thrown a pick, I would say, maybe try to throw a go route to Eli Lilly, hit Isaac York over the middle.
I still might.
Yeah, I mean, I still probably would, but I don't know. Maybe after that, just try to, if you can get a big gain on the run, do that, then go from there. If not, you're still up 29 points going into halftime.
Not bad.
If you set on it right
it's
here.
Okay. They're on the 27. They'll throw it left to Lilly. Lilly drops it. Incomplete. Clock stops. 34.6. He heard footsteps coming in from Collins. And
Collins is playing.
They're playing
9-man in the box here and playing bump and run on Lilly. Why not try to throw a go ball here?
Linebacker Marcus Stoner came up to kind of sort of break up that one. Lilly juggled it. Stoner was there to stop him if he had caught it.
And they're coming right back out with it. I mean, you have a little safety help, but
they'll run the sweep and the flag. Unbelievable.
I mean, it's going to be the same thing, I think. And well, let's see what they call first before I go on a little mini rant.
I'm with you.
Nah, just a hold.
Just your garden variety hold.
Still obviously hurts, but we're going to talk about it a million more times if they continue to call it over, the rest of this year. But if you're Scott County, I honestly don't know what you do, because that's exactly how the wing tee's taught.
We are 4 minutes away from this first half taking an hour and a half. It is almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it never really takes this long.
I mean, 69 points have been scored.
That and
Nice.
the other team's throwing it a lot.
Toss. Lots of room. Cutting back inside the 30. Not the first down, but gets them out of the hole a little bit. Timeout, Jim McKee, 6.7 seconds. We'll see what kind of trickeration they can come up with.
In a spot like this, normally, Scott County would be in a closer game. But the play that they would try to probably go to right here is the hook and ladder, especially with that hitch. Everyone comes up on it. You have the back already coming out of the backfield. Normally probably Fikert or Ellis Hughley right here. Toss it to him, let him try to go down the sideline. And with Coach McKee waiting to call that with 6 seconds, I wouldn't expect him just to run, sweep or whatever. There's no real point in that. So all I'm saying is over the years, that's been a go-to play call in this type of scenario.
Yeah, I would agree that that's probably the trump card here. They've got to go 69 yards. They're at their own 31, so you've got to, you could throw one to the sidelines again, get out of bounds, and I don't know, then run that play.
Run that right.
Maybe a little closer to pay dirt. We'll see.
All right. We'll definitely see what kind of coverage they're in. Still not really.
Collins kind of hugging the line of scrimmage.
I don't understand all that well, but it looks like this
Here
is what
comes.
they're running.
Well, they read it pretty well. Hickey scrambling. He had some room, but he's tripped up at the 40, and that'll end the half.
Well, that was exactly what they were running.
8:58 p.m., and we will go to halftime here on homecoming night. Madison Central has taken the lead, 14-10 over Great Crossing.
Yeah.
That would be a tough
tough
one for the Warhawks to swallow if that stays that way. They jumped out on top in that one. Madison Central 0-5, as we mentioned.
I was about to say Madison Central's had a rough go at it, so that would be a detriment loss.
Be a season maker for the Indians.
Looks like we got Kennedy Sullivan out here.
We have the Hall of Famers, and we're going to talk about them momentarily. It is a softball-heavy Hall of Fame class.
Shout out to Kennedy, fellow graduate.
First up, 2006,
Chelsea Lyman is the basketball representative. Hall of Fame. She is a 2,000-point scorer for the Lady Cardinals, went on to join the 1,000-point club at Middle Tennessee State University. We'll let Bill Holland read off her list of accomplishments. She's also been an exceptional coach at the college and high school levels. And then a cast of many softball folks who have contributed to the incredible tradition here at Scott County. Larkenwood Charles. She was a 4-time all-region player. That's hard to do, and she did it in 2 different regions, the 8th and the 11th, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. When she finished her career, she was in the top 10 all-time KHS AA list for doubles, triples, home runs, and RBIs.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, softball has evolved a lot since then, but that is still just an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah.
How about Kennedy Sullivan? we overuse the term GOAT. Kennedy Sullivan's the GOAT of Scott County softball, without a doubt, and went on to a tremendous career with Western Kentucky and the University of Kentucky. She was a 3-time state champion, 2 of those as the main woman in the circle for the Lady Cards, and could also take the ball deep.
Yeah,
Jeff Portwood, legendary coach. In 6 years, he took the team to 3 state titles, undefeated in the district, winning percentage of 80+%. And he is retired to be a full-time granddad now. And the 2014 team that started it all, the first title-winning team that went 33-9 with memorable wins over Mayo, Apollo, and McCracken County in the state tournament going in as a team. Portwood coached them. Of course, Kennedy Sullivan, a member of that team as an 8th grader, along with Princess Valencia. All kinds of other stars on that team that people, Marley Tevis, they had a recorded message from her as she was the pitcher. She was the ace on that team. Sullivan had a key appearance as well in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Samantha Smith.
Some very deserving girls out there.
Kelsey Long.
Another 8th grader, Hannah Davis on that
team. Hannah Davis moved to shortstop in the middle of that season. And Coach Portwood said the move to put her there and puts who they had playing at shortstop out in center field with the golden arm made all the difference.
Yeah, fun story about Larkin Wood. Well, she was Larkin Wood to me. My mom was the principal at Scott Middle for many, many years, and Larkin was her TA her senior year, and Larkin would come pick me up from school when I was in 2nd grade. So shout out to Larkin, and then obviously I graduated with Kennedy Sullivan. She was a good friend all the way middle school through high school, and obviously a phenomenal softball player and very well deserved recognition there. And I played and went to school with a lot, or I went to school with a lot of those 2014 girls, and so those are all very well deserving and a great addition to Scott County's Hall of Fame.
It's funny when you say she was Larkin Wood to you. Jeff Portwood had the same problem. He was getting ready to read off the roster from 2014. He said, I apologize to all y'all who got married since then, but I'm going to read you by the name I know.
Yeah, especially 8-year-old Sam, that's all you know her by. So, like I said, awesome recognition, and that Hall of Fame is just, has some incredible people and teams inside of it, and those are some great additions to it.
Scott County, 31 plays, 409 yards. That is an average of 13.2 a pop, if my math is correct. Collins, 31 plays, 169. The only negative for the Cardinals, 12 penalties, 120 yards. So they've not been the little stuff. Well, we've had a couple of offsides in there, but it's been blindside blocks and chop blocks and holds. Some stuff they'll have to clean up. Whether it's, it's the way they've always played or not, it's obviously a point of emphasis they're going to have to pay attention to.
Yeah, maybe try to switch it up a little bit. How about Timmy Amongo?
Timmy Amongo. Let's talk about his first half. 107 yards rushing. He had 29 yards on a kick return. He had a pick six credited as 19 yards. He's on a roll tonight.
Averaging 35.7 yards a rush.
That's some productive touches tonight for number 9. Ellis Hughley, 5 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Thomas Fikert, 5 for 67. Kane Garrett, 5 for 47. Andrew Hickey, 3 for 5. One of those incompletions was thrown to Collins for a pick six. Joshua Lanehart, 55-yard interception return in the final minute of the half. We had 4 touchdowns scored in the final 3:23. Scott County scored 3 touchdowns in 31 seconds. Hughley, 25-yard pass on the play action from Hickey. The 19-yard interception return for Timmy. And then Christian Rodriguez, I guess we'll call it a scoop 6. They're going to say he picked it up on the 6-yard line and kind of stumbled in.
Yeah, and
for the score there.
I got to talk a little bit about my defensive guys. Jackson Dameron leading the team in tackles with 4. Luke Valencia and Ben Camp with 2.5 apiece, and Paul Gardner with 2. Also, Paul Gardner with that great breakup to lead to the interception for Timmy Amongo.
Let's give a call to Cade Gooden again. 2 beautiful throws to Michael Schramm for the touchdowns. Hit him right in about the same spot in the opposite end zones for 20 and 14 yards in the first and second quarters. Gooden, 12 for 41 running the ball. He gained 68 and was thrown for losses of 27, so the net is 41. 9 for 18 through the air, the 1 pick, 133 yards, the 2 touchdowns. Schramm, 4 catches for 78. Jackson Dameron leads the Cardinals with 4 tackles. Hughley started it with a touchdown run of 7 yards to cap a 7-play, 80-yard drive. Timmy Amongo, an 80-yard drive. He had 74 of it on the second and final play for a touchdown to make it 14-0. Taysir Jabor kicked those 2 extra points along with 5 others. Jacob Fryman, 2 touchdowns, a 6-yarder and a 1-yarder.
That's coming after not seeing the field in the first quarter.
Yeah, he didn't play at all in the first quarter. Came right in and took
Did what he
advantage
does.
of Hughley and
Yep.
Fikert doing what they do to do what he does. Amongo in there as well.
It's almost like Scott County Cal in the last couple games has had almost kind of, Kentucky a few years ago had the platoon teams, the white and the blue. They had so many great players. Scott County's kind of doing that with their backfield.
They are.
With Buddy Collins, Timmy Amongo, and Kane Garrett. And then you got your 3 veterans, with Fryman and Ellis Hughley and Thomas Fikert. They've kind of gone back and forth. And the thing is, just like that, Kentucky team, I know I'm using an analogy here, all of them are contributing. That's why he's going to it.
Collins had like the 1 carry out of the gate. I think it was the second play of the game. Didn't really get the ball on offense after that. It's been by committee with Garrett, Hughley, Fikert, Amongo, and Fryman for the most part.
And when you're in the wing tee, the more backs that can contribute, the way better you're going to be. One, you're going to have injuries. That's part of football. Guys get tired legs.
You're just fresh. I mean,
right.
we've seen Scott County teams where the fullback had to carry the ball 25, 30, 35 times. That's not the case this year.
Right. And not just that, but it makes defenses have to game plan for a lot more. And then you just got different types of guys back there. As we've mentioned, Buddy Collins is going to just blow right by you. Timmy Amongo can kind of do all of it. Fryman's going to run you over. Kane Garrett's going to give you a little bit of a burst. Ellis Hughley and Thomas Fikert are just going to be just animals back there, do everything that they possibly can. It makes you prepare for so much. And then don't forget about Eli Lilly out wide. He hasn't been no slouch either. He's been great out there for us all year. And then someone that had an awesome year last year that really hasn't, I would say, been utilized so much this year, but obviously is always there is Isaac York at the tight end position. And then you got Andrew Hickey running it all. So, when you add all that up, Scott County has a great chance to score with anybody. It's what can this defense do against the top-tier teams and give that offense a chance.
So we had, between the 2 teams, 17 penalties in the first half. We had 10 scoring plays. Hence, it's 9-10, and you're probably, if you're just tuning in, you're thinking you're going to hear the end of the game. Nah, you're watching the halftime show. You're hearing the band play.
Hey, you get to listen to the best band in the land, though.
You get to listen, and then you get to listen to Sam and me for a little while longer. See if we can get some scores here from around the area. Highlands over Cooper, 34-17. I'll tell you what, Highlands has got to be good if they're putting it to Cooper like that.
What'd you say the score was?
34-17. Cooper impressed me last week in a 40-0 win here over Great Crossing. Trinity over St. X, 21-10 at the half.
Really? That's a surprising score.
Yeah, Trinity's kind of a mystery.
Yes, they are.
After 3 quarters, South Oldham only up 20-7 on Anderson County. So that's a district game of interest here in 5A for these 2 teams. As Scott County will be playing Anderson County here next week and going to South Oldham the week after that.
I don't know if you already mentioned it, Cal, but Indianapolis Cathedral is playing Douglas tonight.
What's the score there?
I think it's 21-19 Cathedral.
Wow, good one there at the end of 3.
Yep. And obviously that's
Douglas is kind of doing what Scott County used to do, right? They're playing some of these upper crust.
Yep.
From obviously the game of the year so far in Kentucky last week at Corbin.
Yep.
6-0 old school Donnybrook.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore.
They lost that one. So if Douglas loses that game, they'll be the best 2 and 3 team in the history of the state of Kentucky for sure.
How about that score, Cal?
Catholic was up on Boyle, and Boyle just tied it with a Montaven Quisenberry kickoff return for a touchdown. Quisenberry is the best player I've seen in a long time.
He's awesome. And the thing is, Boyle County's got about 3 or 4 guys that just blow right by you. They open your eyes.
Catholic's really good. LCA is really good. I mean, we've got some good football being played here in Central Kentucky, and obviously Douglas.
That score surprises me though with Catholic.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't see that one coming.
I knew they were pretty good, but I thought Bull County would handle them. That gets you a little nervous for the last game of the year.
Doesn't it though? Again, though, nothing to lose
I was
there.
about
It's
to
just
say
going to
again.
get you ready for
Yep.
the playoffs.
Again, it doesn't matter. They're not even in the same class as Scott County, and that's why you play those games. You know, you get prepared. As we mentioned before, you know, my years of high school that no one really cares about, but when we go,
It's
and
getting
play,
farther and farther away.
You know, you go play Cincinnati Elder, Cincinnati LaSalle, Cincinnati Moeller. You know, you go play Highlands, Covington Catholic. Pulaski County at that time had been to like three straight state title games, won one of them, played them. You start playing all these teams that are, you know, great teams, state championship teams, or national powers as those Cincinnati teams are, and you get yourself ready for your playoffs.
Boyle just took the lead 28-21 on a Sage Dawson touchdown pass.
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll start turning it up. Cathedral just took a 28-19 lead with 7:38 in the fourth
Two scores there. So Douglas in danger of being 2-3. Obviously, a very, very, very good 2-3.
Yeah, and Cathedral's quarterback Danny O'Neill was getting recruited by all the big boys, and he committed to Coach Prime in Colorado recently. So, you know, you got a big-time Power 5 quarterback playing against the Broncos tonight. A lot of great high school football games going on tonight.
It is that time of year as we're getting close to this. For a lot of teams, this is their last game before districts. In the case of Scott County, with a 5-team district, they are in the heat of it tonight, but they have handled it well with a few speed bumps here and there, but up 49-20 over Collins.
Last week, a lot of great games, you know. Anytime Trinity and St. X play against each other, it's, you know, it's going to be a war and a battle. And do they still play that at Cardinal Stadium? Forever, they always
used to play it at Papa John's or whatever it's called.
Cardinals, I don't even know what it is now, but you know, that game used to attract 40,000 fans every year. I don't know if they still play it there, but regardless of the records, and Douglas playing out of state, Bull County playing Catholic.
You talk about games last week. The holy war between LCA and Catholic was at Donnybrook.
And then, as you mentioned, the Corbin-Douglas game. What a great game that was. Last second stop by Corbin. Smith twins.
Here closer to home, we haven't seen so many close games with SC and GC here at Bird's Nest Stadium, but we're bound to see one down the road. Yeah, it's still 14-10. Looks like Central going for another touchdown here. I don't know if it's defense or offense. Big old kid just ran it in. I don't know if it's a running back or a pick six or what. Yeah, it looks like it was an offensive play, but Central has taken a 2-score lead with 2:27 to go in the third quarter. We'll see the replay. It was just an inside handoff and about a 46-yard touchdown run by number 21 from Central.
Does GC have everybody playing?
It's a good question.
I believe so?
I mean, it was interesting to me that Morris scored the first touchdown of the game for them, because he hasn't played much offense this year, if my sources are correct that he had it. I've been keeping not even one eye on that game here, as we've had so many points being scored in front of us. But
yeah, and you know, as you said, you know, never mind. I didn't want to say anything bad, but
your train of thought went away there.
Well, Central, you know, has had a very, very down year.
At some point, your pride is going to take over. You're at home. If you're Madison Central, I mean, we all said, well, that looks like a winnable game for Great Crossing. But if you're Madison Central, you know what? You're saying the same thing. You're saying there's a team coming in that's 1-4. They've gotten running clock the past 2 weeks. We feel like we should have a shot.
And as you said, it's at your place. I believe it was homecoming for them. You know,
it is.
And Madison Central takes pride in their sports, and they take pride in their town. You know, they're not just going to lay down and give up, and that's not a poverty program.
PAT was blocked, so it'll stay 20-10 with 2:27 to go in the third quarter.
Plus,
Down
first year head coach at Madison Central, he wants to shut up some critics and have a big win for them.
They've had obviously some player defections to other schools. They've had some injuries. They've had about 5 or 6 different kids play quarterback for them this year.
Yeah, that's just a tough break for him and Madison Central. Is your 3 best players transfer before even the school year starts. One of them could win Mr. Football over at LCA and Brady Hensley. And then you still, I have a senior quarterback that we really believe in. He breaks his arm first game of the year. He's out for the year. You go to another guy. Now you bring in your third string quarterback that hasn't really played. You have to completely switch your offense around.
How much of a difference maker is a guy like Hensley for LCA
incredible.
when you've already got a quarterback that's committed to UK?
Yeah.
And then you bring that in to balance out your offense.
Yeah, you try to check in on scores all the time, see what Cutter Bowley's done, especially when you're a UK fan like a lot of the state is. And you check, and it's Cutter has 1 or 2 touchdowns, and Brady Hensley has 4.
That opening night where Hensley had like 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane.
And he hasn't slowed down, and they've played some incredible competition this year. I think they started out with 4 or 5 teams that were in a state championship last year, or something ridiculous like that. And they're 4-1 through it. Who do they play tonight?
Good question.
Are
they in the district yet? Look at that.
They might be playing, like you said, a district team that isn't up to par with them. I saw some of their games where they should have easy wins, which is a part of their district being in 2A. Yeah, they play Shawnee tonight, so that should be a very easy win for them. That's the cool part about, football. You have classes, so you can kind of cheer and watch for other teams that you don't have to worry about in the playoffs. When it comes to any other sport in the state, you're going to have to look at it as, hey, we could potentially play these guys.
Yeah, and we'll get to down the road. We'll talk a little bit more about Scott County in 5A, but 5A is loaded.
Loaded, always is.
I mean, gosh,
Highlands, Bowling Green.
Looking last week, I hadn't even considered Cooper, and they've got 2 guys that are targets for UK, and they look like a team that, if they got the right draw, could go to Kroger Field, and that makes it a list of about 7 or 8. And Highlands is picking them apart tonight, and Highlands is in 5A. So
yeah, Highlands is good. Scott County had an awesome road win in the playoffs at Highlands last year.
That was a great football game. If y'all didn't get a chance to go to that one. Scott County will kick off to start the second half here. A long way to go till November.
Oh, yeah. But it's always fun to talk ahead.
Oh, we love it. The Collins Titans trying to keep this game, keep the clock from being a running clock here in the second half. They're down 49-20, tiptoeing across the 20, now having a little bit of daylight on the corner. I figured they were going to throw a flag there as the pace this game was going at, but no such thing, and Collins will start at its own 26-yard line.
I was scared that the corner there, which happened to be Buddy Collins, got sucked in too much, but he did a good job getting back outside and setting the edge, forcing him out of bounds. Could have been a big gain. Instead, starts at the 25.
The Scott County defense scored a couple of touchdowns late in the first half. We'll see what they can do here. They finally found a way to slow down Cade Gooden after about a couple of series where he seemed unstoppable. Throw a nice short pass here, and quickly pouncing on it there are the Cards.
From all the holds that they have called on Scott County, the right tackle just bear hugged Christian Rodriguez and threw him to the ground, and it didn't call one thing.
365 of Scott County's 409 yards in the first half were rushing yards. For Collins, it was the other way around. 133 of the 169 were through the air.
And that's why it took forever, because a lot of those were incompletions. And
9 for 18 Gooden was. They'll keep it here with much the way we saw at the start of the first half, a lot of room up the middle. Right. And he runs for a first down across the 40.
And the thing, Scott County towards the end of the first half did a good job of stopping that, and they went right back to letting Collins have the numbers in the box. We'll see if they adjust real quick. I know Collins is down 29, but if you score right here, you still got a lot of clock, especially the way you throw it.
I mean, the second half could take as long as the first half.
Yeah, and
if
bare
they could
minimum,
stay in it.
It gives you some life and pride.
Gooden tiptoeing to the right. A lot of time. Running out of options. He'll throw it across his body, but somehow completes it on the other side of midfield. Now he'll get strung up right at the 50.
He caught that ball about the 45 and went all the way back to the 50. And that's not a first down. It'll probably be.
Quentin Wooten had the first down and gave it up. Now it'll be second and 1.
I can't believe he got that all the way across the field there. I thought that was easily going to be a pick.
That's a tough throw to make.
Yeah,
and then a couple of Scott County guys were giving chase but couldn't get there. If one of them did get it, it was going the other way for 6. As there was nothing but green real estate over here. Ball's right at the midfield stripe. Second and 1. 10 minutes to play, third quarter. Fake to the running back. Throw the slant for the first down. Wooten at the 43.
Yeah, they keep going to that quick slant to Wooten. It's been there all night. He's dropped a couple, but it's been there all night whenever they want it.
First down and 10 at the Scott County 43. Collins, they kept pace in the first downs category. They have 14 to match Scott County's total on the night.
That's a hard play to cover unless you're in bump and run.
High snap. He'll bring it down.
Good play.
He fakes the run and then gets swallowed up.
Well,
fights back to the line of scrimmage, does Gooden somehow.
It should have been a loss about 4 or 5. Instead, he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good effort by him.
Squirmed away before Rowe made the tackle. I didn't see if it was Dameron or Blair who got him first.
I believe it was Blair. Delivered a good pop, just didn't wrap up.
Couldn't get the mitts on him. Second and 10. Empty backfield. We've seen that about half the time tonight, maybe 2/3 of the time. Is Gooden. It's usually a running play, but he'll throw it out to Delaney across the 40 to 38, where Scott County makes the tackle. It'll be third and about 5.
You got to think no matter what, this is 4-down territory for Collins.
Valencia and Robert Thompson made the stop. It is 3rd and 6. Market shy of the 38.
Yeah, and knowing that, I would probably expect a quarterback draw again, see if he can get it with his legs. If not, go right back to the quick slant to Wooten, which has been there all night.
Certainly been there on this drive.
Going trips to the right.
It's been kind of their bread and butter play when they need a first down, that or the Gooden keeper, and now a timeout. Titans will call that one. 8:12 to play, third quarter. 49-20 your score. Scott County on top. I want to thank all the sponsors who make it possible. As Collins heads down toward the Scott County end zone, you can see the banners along the fence. Do support those folks and tell them you appreciate all that they do. For the kids from both schools, reading off a few. Galvin's on Main, Ozer Paint and Flooring. Clark's Pump and Shop, Georgetown Community Hospital, DMK CPA, Bluegrass Orthopedics. Oh, we got them right in front of us here. Why am I reading the banner?
A little bit.
Well, let's see here. It's actually easier to read from a distance when you get to be my age. Jersey Mike's, a sub above, Dan Cummins. Paris and Georgetown, West Banco, Greens Toyota of Lexington, Chick-fil-A of Georgetown, Scott County Veterinary Clinic, American Mini Storage, Sword Performance, the official sports drink of Bird's Nest Athletics, BMT Maintenance, Heating and Cooling, Burger King, U.S. Army Recruiting out of Frankfurt, Domino's Pizza, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Steve Skierman, Kentucky, Farm Bureau Insurance, Kroger Hometown Pickup. That just about covers it, I think. Thank you for all you do, folks.
Shout out Galvin's, best place on earth.
Galvin's, more than 100 items, and none of them are bad. And about that many TVs to watch the game on. Gooden will throw it. Nice break up there, getting the slap down.
Robert Thompson.
Thompson's had a good series here, made a stop, and now a pass break up to force 4th down and 5, a long 5.
That was a great pass breakup by a guy that hasn't been getting a lot of run, making the most of his opportunity.
Taking advantage of the reps here. Ball is at the 38.5. They need to get to the 33. It's certainly 4-down territory. Got a couple of guys here in the booth watching a Wisconsin-Purdue game like they got money on it or something. I don't know. I don't want to cast any aspersions here.
Who's like that?
Like to thank our elected leaders for making that possible, or at least legal.
That's right.
They're going to get the sack and the
Justin
stop.
Stevenson, what a rundown.
Justin Stevenson with the sack of Gooden for the turnover on downs.
He came from the opposite edge and ran him all the way down to the Scott County sideline, made the great play, forced a turnover on downs. If you're Gooden right there, man, you got to get rid of that. It's 4th down. Worst comes to worst, you throw a pick. It's a turnover regardless. You cannot take a sack.
One of the few freshman mistakes we've seen tonight.
Yep.
I think Madison Central just scored a defensive touchdown to really put a damper on that one for great crossing with 11:30 left. They're going to run a sweep with York. We haven't seen that tonight or in a while. He gets to midfield before he stopped after a gain of 6.
And, I think that's part of, hey, you're a playmaker. You're important to our program and to this offense. We need to start getting you some touches. We're going to get it to you any way possible. They put him over there on the edge and give it to him on the sweep. I like it. Fullback dive.
Going to run up the middle across midfield. They're not going to get the first down.
I think they're actually going to give it to him, Cal.
They're going to give him his forward. That's a lot of forward progress to the 46.
Yes,
and if that's the case, and it looks like they're headed in that direction, they're going to move the chains. Good on us there as the fullback dive with Fryman gets the job done. Fresh set of downs at the Collins 46. Clock running, 7:15 to play third quarter. Cards up by 29 and looking to put this one officially out of reach. There's another dive. Gain of 5. Fryman doing what Fryman do.
That was almost a disaster. Fikert, Fryman, and Hickey about all ran into each other right there, but escaped barely and got a good gain on first down by Jacob Fryman.
2nd and 5 at the 41. Straight ahead. Close to the first down. He won't get the forward progress. Next, it's Garrett. He'll be stopped a yard short. 3rd and 1 at the 37.
Looks like Scott County's just trying to play some bully ball, maybe run some clock out here. Going a lot of a fullback dive, belly.
They feel like they've shown Collins enough of the sweep to this point.
I would expect the exact same play here. Oh,
sneak.
Sneak.
Hickey gained a lot of yardage the first time they used that tonight, and he will push the stack inside the 35 to the 33 for a first down.
Well, we talked about kind of a platoon a little bit at halftime, and here comes Buddy Collins and Timmy Amongo replacing Ellis and Fikert. I'd be shocked if one of them doesn't touch it here. Even though they've been very fullback heavy, when those two guys get in the game, it's normally to touch the football.
Collins in motion. They'll come this way instead. Big hole, 20-15. Amongo at the 5. Into the end zone for the 3rd time tonight. Twice on offense, once on defense. 33 yards the distance. We are a Taysir Jabbour extra point away from a running clock with 5:42 remaining.
Cal, he's just a difference maker.
He is special.
He's just a difference maker. And that's why I said when those two guys come in, they're touching the football. And Timmy Amongo got it right there, got it on a great sweep. More of a counter, I should say, and made a great move. Ran through a tackler about the 5-yard line, powered in for a score.
Drumheller will hold it for Jabbour. He's kicking to the fieldhouse end of the field. 8 for 8 PATs. Running clock will reign. Glory, hallelujah.
It's definitely been a long night. When you can hit the over in the first half.
we're on that theme, aren't we?
Yeah. Makes you think. if that was an actual thing in high school football, how many overs would Scott County have hit over the years?
Oh, Lord.
I mean, it would probably be at like a 90% clip.
Because,
I would say.
my first year here, I swear everything was the over because every game was like tonight.
Yeah.
We'd score at will. Defense gave up maybe a little more than we liked. You remember that year, your junior season.
I know. I was out there. The funny thing is we led the state in interceptions, but would give up some touchdowns. It didn't make a lot of sense, but we won a lot of football games, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
56-20. The Cards are 8 for 8 on offense tonight.
Is that Central game over yet?
They are up by 3 scores, and it is 10:50 to go. 27-10. Your score.
Wow. Uh-oh.
Collins runs it across the 35, and a flag coming in late, and we've got a Cardinal down, and I think that one will be on Collins, and I'm afraid is that Garner?
I hope not.
That was kind of dirty.
Yes, it was, and he's gotten up. He's a little shaken up. Paul Garner.
Clutching his left knee. He's going to stay out there, and you just pray. He's waving off everybody else, trying to collect his thoughts.
And obviously, I hope he's okay. He's a great leader, great safety. But if there's any actual injury, I would just go ahead and take him out the rest of this game.
I mean, you don't have anything to gain at this point.
No, you don't.
They have sustained enough injuries already on the defensive side. I mean, it's good news he's walking around, albeit gingerly.
Yeah, it looks like he's okay. The illegal block below the waist was against Paul Gardner, as you mentioned. So I think he might have just maybe got a hit to the thigh, dead leg a little bit.
Collins started 3 drives inside its 10 in the first half. They'll start this one after the penalty at their own 13.
Yeah, if you said before the season, who are your top 2 not only best players but leaders on defense?
Harmon and Garner.
Harmon and Garner.
And God knows we can't lose Garner.
Right. So, especially on the back end.
Quick throw, good and
Great
well
play.
read by Luke Valencia. Doing what he does best. His 7th tackle for loss of the season.
That Valencia name just
they're a family of winners. I said
yes,
said it on X the other night. They put the highlight film up there. I said, I don't know how you have 3 kids like that. To have all 3 of them so great.
Yeah, we just talked about Kennedy Princess in the same class, another great friend, and you want to talk
about Nani.
Yeah, you want to talk about the ultimate competitor and warrior. Princess Valencia would do anything to win, and she most of the time she did win. She was a great player and a great person in her own right. And then, like you said, Leilani, she's great too.
Throw to the left flat and knocked out of bounds at the 20.
As great of a play by Luke on the former play, kind of just forgot that guy was out there in the flat. He was under it.
He was kind of still celebrating in his mind a little bit, I think.
Regardless, 3rd down, this would be a big stop for Scott County. Not really on the field, but for their own pride and especially for Coach Monty, everything matters till the last whistle.
Garner's moving fine now, so we are celebrating that. 3rd and 3.
He's a warrior. He'll be okay.
That also runs in the family. As Gooden on a keeper, and he has stopped shy at the 21. So it'll be 4th and a long yard.
Go for it. I mean,
what do you got to lose?
I was about to say, why not?
Scott County's going to score whether you punt or not. So
you might as well.
They're going to punch it in on you a couple more times.
Yeah, I agree.
Fry up a 70 burger.
And they are. So good for them. I would be shocked if they didn't run a quarterback draw.
Yeah.
Maybe they try to get him to jump. No. Quarterback draw.
Run. He's going to get it.
Yep. Got it by a yard, looks like.
To the 24.
2 yards.
We are at the running clock, so I feel comfortable telling you your Chick-fil-A player of the game tonight is Timmy Amongo, the freshman. 3 touchdowns, 2 long runs, and a pick 6.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty well deserved.
Congratulations to Timmy.
When you touch it only about 4 times and score 3 times, yeah. or at least 2.
Yeah.
No, 3.
Let's
Yeah.
say he had
He had a defensive
He had the first
touchdown.
touch of the game, and then I think the next 3 times he touched it went to the end zone. So, well, no, I guess he had 3 carries in the first half.
Woo.
That is
There's no way
thrown
he caught
high.
that. Yeah. Incomplete. That was great coverage. It was almost an incredible snag.
Dameron came in late after the initial defense by Stevenson. Second and 10. Clock still running. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter.
That's the thing about these running clocks is first half was forever, and then second half, it gets to that running clock, you look up, and it's second half went by in 10 minutes. It feels like.
Got to make
That's
up
what
for
happened
it.
last week at Madison Central.
Gooden fakes to Delaney. Elijah Valencia giving chase. Gooden completes it nicely on his own sideline at the 40 for a first down.
They're going to tack another 15 on for a late hit. Gooden got the worst of it,
He
obviously.
got popped, and he's still kind of struggling, stretching his back.
Couldn't tell which defensive lineman it was, but
I know Elijah Valencia was
he
putting
ran
the pressure
forever.
on
Yeah,
him.
he ran forever.
He wanted to get his money's
about to
worth
say,
after all that running.
It's kind of like, man, I'm going to still hit you after I ran all this way. Nonetheless, that was a great ball by Gooden on the run. He loves that throw as we've seen tonight. That deep out route.
I'm impressed with that young man's ability to throw on the run accurately.
Yeah, he's been hitting that about.
He's going to be a problem in this district for
Yes,
the next
he will.
4 years.
Especially if they can get some more playmakers around him. He'll be tough to stop.
I'm kind of glad they've changed the playoffs because there's a good chance that Collins could be that 4th place team in this district. You don't really want to play a team like this in the first round of the playoffs. I think you'd like to see someone else. Not that you'd be in any danger, but Delaney, only his second carry. He carried on the very first play of the game, and that's only the second inside handoff he's taken from Gooden.
Yeah, the running game hasn't been much other than Gooden quarterback draws or scrambling, but
on the tackle. Gain of 3 on the play. Second down and 7.
Collins, not in any hurry.
Again, this is not really a on-field drive for Scott County's defense, but it's more of a self-pride. Don't let them in the end zone.
Yeah.
And that's why you still see the starters out there.
Gooden keeps it and popped at the 35. Didn't see who made the hit, but it was again. Now we got a little bit of a scuffle down there, or maybe.
I believe that was Robert Thompson again. He's one
of those guys that now some players having to be separated.
That was Robert Thompson. Good for him. I love seeing guys that those JV scout team warriors that finally get their chance and they just take full advantage of it and make play after play. Those are winners in my book and guys that you want to win with.
Dameron was embroiled with one of the Titans in a little bit of a disagreement. Good on the officials for not throwing a flag there. We've seen enough.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me one bit.
Final play of the third quarter with 12 minutes to go. 56-20 your score. Yeah, Dameron likes contact and likes the conflict.
Oh, yeah, he's a warrior out there, man. He loves it.
Got a few on this defense. You talked that word applies to Gardner, it applies to Dameron, it applies to Blair, and it applies to Valencia.
Yeah, he's not going to turn his head to anybody. Anybody wants the problem, he'll be right there with it.
It's like Vanilla Ice. If there's a problem, I'll solve it.
Little pull there by the decal.
There's a dated reference for you from my high school / college days.
And in this fourth quarter, Cal, you want to, 1, don't let them score. Have some self-pride. 2, get out of here healthy. And hopefully maybe try to get some JV guys some good reps.
I think Great Crossing just scored with 8 minutes to play to cut that to 27-16 pending the extra point. Looked like a touchdown pass from Jeremiah Clark. Or he might have just kept it. Yeah, touchdown run for Clark.
That's about their offense.
Yeah, it has that and Isaiah Johnson. If teams can shut him down, they've had trouble sustaining a lot. There's a flag. A deep ball from Gooden is incomplete. We'll see what the flag
I
is
think
all
that was
about.
Paul Gardner. That was great safety over the top help. Because that was going to be a touchdown, besides these flag, obviously, but it was going to be 6. That was a great ball. Gardner came over top and broke it up in the end zone.
Timmy Amongo up to 140 yards rushing after the third quarter.
How many touches? 4?
4 for a $140 and 2 TDs. So he's touched the ball 5 times and scored on 3 of them.
That's having a day, I would say. Even though he just got taken out on defense.
Ball is at the Scott County 45, 3rd and 14. Call it 13. Cade Gooden still in at quarterback for Collins. He faked to nobody. He throws it deep. Another flag. Incomplete.
Yeah, we'll see you'd have to think a hold.
It's in the area of holding, as they say.
Unless it's illegal hands to the face, but I think it's a hold.
I think you got to decline it.
Is it 4th? Yeah.
It'd be fourth. It'd be 4th and long.
They kind of, it's a hold. Yeah, decline. The referee was asking Coach Mike Davis if he wanted to decline it, and he's kept pointing at Coach Monty, saying that's the guy you need to ask. Finally came to the conclusion to decline.
And we'll see a rare punt in this game.
All right, here comes the block. Tried to call it in the first half. We're going to see if we can get it here.
Garner got the wheels left. We'll see. After that hit down by the knee and ankle, thankfully he's still in the game. He is on the left edge, and here he comes. And bad snap and a flag.
It's going to be an illegal formation, but it's not going to matter.
It's not going to matter. It's going to be Scott County ball at the 38. Yeah.
Man, that's
it was going to be blocked.
Yeah, if he
and they knew it.
Up.
It's been a strange game.
Yes, it has.
It'll go in the books as another running clock win for Scott County. They're going to be 5-1 overall, 1-0 in the district. Heavily favored at home against Anderson County next week. And then 3 on the road to wrap it up. And they'll be challenging at least 2 of the 3. The last 2 will be at Woodford County and Lexington Catholic.
Yeah, talk about a way to injure.
That's a good way to go in. That's if you're going to get ready for the postseason. You got to buy in between.
That's good.
You kind of need it.
Yep.
Definitely. I know Coach McKee would love to have the bye in week 11. It's going to come in week 10 instead, but you do what you got to do. They've had a couple of non-district games that were almost like buys.
I was about to say the good
even
news
though they played.
Is normally that first round of the playoffs is kind of a bye anyways. You get your offense out, for a quarter, let the JV play after that. So.
Yeah, I can't remember all the teams that are in the sister district, but they're not stellar. So you got to figure the fourth place team isn't going to be.
And sometimes even that second round
or third.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to see the JV cards come out.
They've had themselves, the sub-varsity teams have had a nice season. JV has had some high-scoring affairs. They beat Douglas.
Has anybody lost? I don't believe so. JV or freshman haven't
There
lost.
was a game against Madison Central where they won, I think the final score was 56-30, and they were down going into the fourth quarter. That's how crazy that game
Quarterback
was.
Keat.
Is this Drumheller?
Yes, it is.
He's being stood up at the 40, a flag coming in.
They've been kind of playing Colt Fields a little bit.
Cole Fields had a walk-off touchdown against
Saw
Great
that.
Crossing.
That was awesome.
I was here for a soccer game that night, and kind of keeping, as that fourth quarter went on, I walked over by the fence and was paying a lot more attention to the JV football game, which was much closer.
Yeah, Scott County feels like they've won most of those classes the last few years, but the last year's freshman class, Great Crossing, felt like they got that one. So that's that JV game. That's why
this year's freshman class for Scott County is something
loaded.
else.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And another whistle. And another flag.
What's the flag this time? I mean, they might call delay game, but I felt like he got that off with 1 second or 2 seconds.
9:57 to play in this
Is it still rolling?
flag-filled affair.
Yeah, they are calling delay game.
I like the running clock the way they did it down at Bull County. The like 2 minutes ran off between the PAT and the kickoff after it went to a running clock. That's how a running clock should be. I mean, we're not, especially in the fourth quarter. Let's just get this done.
Get it over with, yeah. Let the JV guys get a drive and let it be done.
Well, we'll run it for no gain. Donovan Meeks, he had a game when it was like 90-plus degrees against Bryan Station. We had 37 carries for $190 or something like that.
Came out with the win. And you know, Cal, this is the first time we saw it earlier in the year. Obviously, this drive's not indicating it, but this is the first time in a few years where I felt like the JVs come in and it's really not missing that much of a beat. And in the last few years, it hasn't been that way because Scott County's starting to play a lot of more younger guys that they normally wouldn't play. And they, keep them on JV, but with splitting schools, you got to use everybody you have. Scott County's been loading up the last couple of years, and some of these JV guys could start at a lot of schools.
I mean, you can see the way Antonio Fry just ran the ball there. He's a guy that could be playing offense if need be.
Which that's how it used to be forever, and now they're starting to get back to it.
He's not going to get much on this toss as Collins read that well.
Yeah, Collins still has all their starters in against a bunch of sophomores, so
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen, but
I still see number 44 out there at the interception return for the touchdown.
Well, we just asked about
some
punting.
Big bodies.
We were talking about not punting all year. We're about to see one.
All right.
It looks like Tay Sears back there.
Not going to be C-Rod. It's going to be Tay Sears.
Guess he has all kicking duties this year. We did see one. Paul Gardner faked a punt against Bull County.
That's right.
Well, so technically we didn't, but at least we lined up.
Taysir Jabbour, 8 for 8 on PATs tonight, will punt away for the first time this evening. He will angle it toward the sideline, get a modest Scott County bounce, and it will die at the 22. 7:38. Please keep running. Thank you. It's been so long since we had a home game. Last time we had a home game, I lived in Georgetown. Now I live in Versailles. See, that's how long it's been. So I have a longer drive home.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. But
at least you're still here.
I'm still here. I'm still here on the good side of the county line. Calling the action for you.
You're still a Cardinal.
I'm a Cardinal all the way, and Bird's Nest. I'm a Warhawk. I'm a Warhawk when they're the home team. You're not going to get me that easily.
I'm a Cardinal.
I still got one eye on the Hawks here, as they are the only competitive game right now. But they've got to get a stop and then a miracle. It's
What's that one looking like?
3:38 to go. Madison Central at the 15-yard line of GC, trying to punch it in and put that one away.
Yeah,
if that's the case, both those teams will be 1-5, and Great Crossing goes into a very demanding district schedule. They've got Simon Kenton, Ryle, and Campbell County.
Yeah, those aren't going to be very fun.
Campbell County feels like the most winnable of
game,
the three.
Most definitely.
And they end the season with Collins at home. That'll be, they've beaten Collins 2 years in a row, so that'll be a good test.
That'll be a good game for Gooden, or it have to be a good game for Gooden, I should say.
I think Great Crossing will have some confidence. They shut down Big Brother Gooden twice, once with a little help from the rain, and then last year, man, they really just went there and went to Shelbyville and dictated that one. But
JV Cardinals are coming in on defense now. And if you're a fan, it's exciting to see these kids come in. You get to see the future of the program, see who's up next, and they have to be scout team all week, all year. Get them some burn in varsity football, and
again, starters still in for Collins. Delaney runs it out to the 40 for a first down. Collins will probably find a way to punch it in here and
they're trying
make this
to
look closer than it was.
I was about to say they're going for the newspaper clippings.
The cosmetic touchdown.
Yeah. No one sees who it was against.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, in the paper. I should say Twitter now.
Yeah. Well, no, you should say the paper.
Read it online.
That's right. That's right. It'd be electronic.
Electronic paper. I still read the articles, Cal.
Good. I'm glad. Somebody get it. News-graphic.com, 24/7, your
nice
news
plug.
source. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll
be
there. At least the AP version. We'll add the quotes for the printed edition, and that comes out on Tuesday. Tuesdays and Fridays on your newsstand or by subscription. We encourage.
Yeah, speaking of AP, in multiple different rankings, Scott County after that Bowl County game,
it dropped from 1 to 4.
A bit, yeah.
And I
get it, but again, that's the number one team
yeah.
in the entire
the same
state.
thing was going to happen to Highlands and Bowling Green,
right?
If they played that game, so
that's why it's kind of a little of a head scratcher why they dropped so much. But all Scott County can do is win.
You see it in college too. Number 1 will play number 8 and win handily, and number 8 will drop to 15. It's like, well, didn't you expect number 1 to win?
Right. Another run. Good job by this defense.
Good pursuit as Collins has gone a little vanilla with the offense here and just had Delaney running it.
Looks like Ellis Hughley's going in to play some defense. Have you seen that in the last 3 years?
I have not, and I'm not sure if
he's
that's
going in at safety.
Is that really him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless they switch jerseys over there.
I don't know if I'd risk that.
I don't know either, but he's in at safety. That is number 11.
Gooden to throw deep and to complete it.
What a catch.
And what a grab over the shoulder.
That's a good ball.
Baker is still down after the catch. He got tackled hard at the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal, but not before they check on him. Is he trying to push himself up and can't do it right now. 5:18, clock stops for the injury. Madison Central kicked a field goal of all things.
So what's that make the score?
30-17.
How much time?
3 minutes.
So it's going to take kind of a miracle over there.
The Tribe trying to hold off the Warhawks. That game started 10-0, so it's a 30-7 run, essentially. Good hand for the youngster as he gets helped off. First and goal at the Scott County 10 is Collins with 5 minutes to play, trying to make this one a little closer and give themselves a warm fuzzy before they board the bus back to Shelbyville. Delaney takes the handoff, got a head of steam around the corner, lunges for the pylon touchdown. 10-yard run for the Titans for the TD with 4:49 to play. Starters against JVs.
I was about to say, that kind of leaves a little bit of a taste in your mouth. And when the other team clearly brings in the JV team, normally, you do the same thing. But I guess they want to make their pride feel a little bit better and put some more points on the board. But good for Scott County to leave those guys in. It's very easy to see that they're not doing the same thing, and bring your starters back in to try to, not let them score. Good for them letting those young guys get some playing time. Missed it.
So they'll only get the 6, 56-27. Your score.
26, actually, because we blocked the last one.
We
too.
did, didn't we? Got ahead of myself there. 26. So a
30
point gap. Pretty good. Was that the spread? You're the gambling expert here. Was that the spread? I mean, I know we've hit the over. I know we've hit the over.
Yeah, the over was about 58.5. They're definitely over that. That takes away the running clock, doesn't it?
No. Once it takes effect, it stays.
It stays? Really?
Yeah.
Really? I don't think I knew that rule.
But again, they've stopped it for the touchdown. It gets administered differently, different places. But one rule that is in effect is it stays.
It just stays.
Because you have to, because it changes the whole, how you approach the game.
Right, it does.
You take your starters out. Well, at least if you're Scott County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But we've seen some weird high school football games. If you come storming back and it keeps rolling.
We saw a 20-0 Bryan Station last year.
Yes, we did. And
evaporate.
21 unanswered. That's one of the more thrilling comeback wins for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of those. I've seen 14-0 plenty of times get wiped out over the years, but 20's a lot in a high school game. Let's see if Timmy Amongo can run one back here and get the hat trick, offense, defense, and special teams.
They're going to give Buddy a chance.
Yeah, well, he might do it. Now he gets taken down at the 40.
He was one man away because that kicker wasn't making that tackle. I can tell you that.
He was just going to be left in the dust or the tire rubber or whatever you get from a field of this nature. Senior night. You get homecoming and senior night back to back because that's the last home game of the regular season next week, folks.
That's crazy.
Scott County and Anderson County, week 7.
When was senior? I want to know something. When was the last time senior night was
September.
in September? That's got to be legitimately.
Probably during COVID because they wanted to make sure they had a chance to have it.
Take that year out. I would say probably never.
Probably never other than that year.
That's crazy. But again, we all knew that it's done on purpose so Scott County can have multiple home games next year in their new stadium.
McKee's going to call a timeout as the formation isn't what he
Not
wanted.
What he wanted.
He will keep coaching his JV offense regardless of the score.
I love that. Every single one of those guys.
It's a learning moment. This is as good as a practice for those guys.
Yeah, they're wearing Scott County across their chest. They're a part of that program. Every single one of those guys represent that program. He wants it done correctly. He doesn't care that he's up 30 points. He wants for them to be the best of their ability and do it correctly.
Big D, Mike Davis, down in the middle of it as well. No, he's not.
He'll lay into some guys.
He's saying, back it up. Back it up. Don't need a penalty. We've already got 14 of those tonight.
Wouldn't that be something? A sideline penalty with 3 minutes
left. Be a perfect ending, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Straight ahead. Gain of about 5. Donovan Meeks again.
He has a unique running style that it looks like he's kind of standing up a little bit, but
it is a straight
bounce
up
off his legs. You would think that he's lowering the shoulder, running over guys the way guys just kind of bounce off of him, but Only a sophomore, I believe. So
He's kind of in that Kane Garrett mold too. He's not a bowling ball.
he's not a bowling ball, but he's definitely bigger than Kane.
Yeah,
He's definitely stronger.
he's taller.
He's taller and stronger, and you get that guy another year in the weight room, he'll be ready to go.
Rowe
Tripped
taken down after for a loss, actually. And again, it's the leading tackler on the season for Collins. Lane Hart still in there, making the
Yeah,
stop.
at this point, I don't know why you guys.
Come on, don't you have younger guys
Yeah,
you
that you
want
wanna
to get
try to
into
get in?
under the lights here? I mean, I don't know what message you're trying to send. I've always been in favor. You coach your team, I'll coach mine. So I guess that is what it is. But
sometimes though, you just got to read the room.
yeah, I agree. It's a good way to put it. 56-26. The room is all Scott County right now. Meeks getting close to midfield. Stopped a little bit shy. 4th and 4. Let's see what they do. You know, Collins will probably throw deep and try to score again if you don't get the first down.
Wouldn't shock me one bit. It's like Coach McKee's trying to decide what he wants to do. He'll probably run it down and call a timeout would be my guess, and then go from there. Well, he just sent Caden back out there with 12 seconds on the play clock.
We're going to have to run a play quickly. No timeouts. 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I guess you are right. We don't have any timeouts.
Trying to get him to jump off sides, and he's going to take the delay of game penalty instead. Clock stops for the penalty at 1:15. They'll punt.
If Gooden comes out here and is throwing bombs, that's when it's.
To me, that's
what
when
that's. And you definitely don't want to do that against a district foe that you're going to have to continue to face. That's up 30 points.
That you failed to stop in 8 opportunities tonight.
Yeah, that could easily score whenever they want on you. So that's one of those that would be.
Well, I guess the defense scored twice, so 6 for 6 where the offense was.
But they never really got stopped all that much.
No,
so
they didn't get stopped. The first punt we saw was this fourth quarter.
Yeah, with JV.
Clock winds down to 50 seconds. Not sure how that all happened. Scott County girls soccer team will be home tomorrow. If you're in the area, check it out. They'll play Lincoln County. They're having a great season. 9 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws. Here at the Bird's Nest on the other side of the A-frame, Great Crossing boys will take on Lafayette at 2 o'clock in the finals of the Warhawk Classic. I want to congratulate Landon Bergman of Great Crossing on making the state tournament in boys golf and a playoff at Regions this week. I think that covers and the Great Crossing volleyball team still undefeated, 19-0.
I hear Borman for Scott County girls.
Tatum Borman just committed to Mississippi State.
That's awesome. Well, there we go.
More cowbell. That will be it. As mercifully, they'll let the rest of the time run off, and we won't have to speculate what Collins is going to do. Your final score, Scott County 56, Martha Lane Collins 26. Cards go to 5-1 overall, 1-0 in the district. Sam, any final thoughts?
Took care of business. Defense stepped up finally in the second half. Scott County scored at will. A win's a win. District wins even better. And go Cards.
Until next week, for Sam Sutton, for Peter Wilson, for Ryan Minion, for DT Wells, for Mike Scoggin, I'm merely Cal Oak saying good night, God bless. Your final score at homecoming, one final time, 56-26, your Cardinals pick up the dub. Good night, everybody.
Go Cards. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.